Promise Assembly. I ask you to guide us in the council as they do the work of the people for life today. Lord, I pray that you look over this great nation under God. Lord, I pray that you look out for our service members that are out there fighting the war. I pray that you guide leaders to bring that to close so that we can have peace and unity on this earth. And Lord, I pray that you bless the people for Hawaii. And Lord, I pray that you guide the people to come together and unify the town so that we can move forward for the good for Hawaii. Positive ways to see that it prospers and grows in a good way that you see fit. Amen.
Okay, we call the meeting to order and go with our pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before I do roll call, I just want to remind anybody, if they want to speak, to go ahead and fill out a speaker card, and then we'll let you speak individually on your own, or wait until the agenda item that you're interested in. Does that make sense to you? You can speak all by yourself, or wait until agenda item number 2, for example, and then speak again all by yourself. And if you haven't turned in your card, turn that in. I've only got one card.
Is that for citizens' comments as well?
Yes, yes.
So you still have to fill out one of these for the citizen comment?
Actually, no, that's for the agenda items. You're good. All right, so here we go with the roll call. Mayor George Jacob Thomas. I'm here as council member, presiding officer Catherine Terry, council member Lonnie Harrell.
Present.
Council member Monica Merrick. Here. Council member Bill Coon.
Here.
Town clerk Glenn Hunter.
Here.
And town attorney Mr. Leonard Ireland.
I'm here and I have with me Katie Crossner, who's also with the Global Board.
Okay, good, welcome. Additions, deletions, changes, and approval of the agenda. Do we have anything that council members would like to add?
I do. I've got a few things that are short. This sewer system, I want to talk about the sewer, getting somebody to oversee the system going in.
Okay.
We have nothing going on with that system. I mean, nobody tell us nothing. Nobody tell them nothing during the day. Our roads are terrible. Did they go up?
Yes, I agree. And can we do that with Greg Bailey?
We can.
He might be able
He
He might be able to help some
out
of those. So I'm gonna put that under item 9, 1A.
Yes, yes. Right.
Did you have something else?
Yes, ma'am. I seen the county had sent in requesting, getting permission for us to let them go after a burn permit so they can start using a burn stream down here instead of just burning. It's more efficient, it's faster. They burn down here in this pit where they keep their rock and stuff, and they also burn our stuff too. They get rid of our debris too when they do it. And all they want is permission to go get it. They don't want full out. I mean, they don't, it's not a cost full out, but they need a burn permit so they can do their burning down there in a little bit more of an efficient way.
So is that 10?
I've turned that in several times, and what they do is they have a water system with it, so that it
Well,
doesn't.
it's in a hole
Yeah.
instead of sitting on the ground, and that screen throws heat to it and makes it burn faster and cleaner.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question regarding this?
Yes.
Does it take an official permit from an agency?
It does. And right before you started, they asked, they sent an email in. That's where I seen it.
Okay,
But it was before you got your email, so you had to see it.
so this town issues the burn
No,
permit?
no, all we do is give the county permission to get the permit from who they need to get it from.
Is there an official form for that? I'm sorry to go
No,
on this, but is it, or is it just a
No,
letter?
we just give them a letter to the county saying that we give them permission on that piece of property down there. And it's the same piece that the sewer's getting built on, so it's easy to find. It would be just giving them permission to get the burn screen permit.
I added that as number 10.
I would like to see the office go to cash only instead of taking cash, I'm sorry, no cash. I'm sorry, no cash. Cashless
Here,
here in
so
this office.
number 11.
I'm sorry, I said that wrong completely. In District 3,
That was 11.
in District 3, there's a private little road named Rufo, is that it? Rufo? And the lady back there, from what I understand, has cancer. Miss Rufy May Bean, maybe, I think's her last name. Miss Barrett, that's what she just come in. She needs about 2 scoops of dirt in a hole to fix her road. She's got nurses coming in there to look after her. She's 80, I think. And it's medical. The reason I'm asking for what, I'll be asking for what to do this for her.
And it
It
says,
is a private road. It's not a full wide, it's not a city road. It's private. But it needs about 2 scoops of dirt, and they can get it off her property and put it in there. It'll just take the little bit of time that it'll take to go down there and fix it. So I guess that'll be 12,
yes, and her name is Bing,
I think so.
and what was the name of the road?
Rufo.
Court, I think.
RUFO.
And the last thing is Mr. Cook, one of the maintenance men, his pay. I want to make sure he's getting the right pay. I've heard that the help that we have helping them is getting paid more than he is. I just want to check his pay so we can at least match what we get from him. I don't know if that's so or not.
So that's
That's it.
13.
There you go.
Ms. Barrett.
I think we have a deletion that we had an email sent in from Miss Mary Hildred to remove herself. So we can delete, item number 2 under new business.
Okay. We're not gonna change all these numbers, so we'll say,
Okay, we're moving through.
Mr. Harrell.
I would like to, do at the beginning of the meeting here, under item 3, proclamations and presentations, I'd like to administer a note to our clerk. I thought we would do that when we approved this contract, but we can go ahead and get that out of the way. And, Mr. Iron, did anybody ever administer that to you? Anybody administer the oath to you?
About 20 years ago.
No, when you got hired on. We can do, we can get you out of the way too. Let's do the oath to clerk and attorney. And then just for clarification, I had a call from a member of the public today, and they were inquiring about the public input being left off the agenda. You addressed that, but for clarity, how are you doing public input?
If anybody in the public wants to speak on an agenda item, it would require the little card, and you'll speak when that item is called.
Okay.
If you want to speak about something at the cemetery, and I'm just saying that, something not on the agenda, that's gonna come as item 10, citizens' comments.
Okay.
Everybody's gonna have an opportunity to speak.
What happened at the beginning of the meeting?
If you wish to speak, and it'll be a 3-minute time period.
Okay.
What happened to comments at the beginning?
That's what's required by law.
I understand what about that, she's running the meeting.
Which law?
I consulted with, Mr. Ireland, and the answer I just gave out here was the answer from Mr. Ireland. So everybody will have an opportunity to speak. If you wish to speak on the item, it will be at the time of the item. If you wish to speak about anything not on the agenda, the Halloween trick or trunk, or trunk or treat, I never said that right. Anything not on the agenda, we'll have that under citizens' comments.
That answers that question.
All right, that's it for me.
Okay, just to recap what Mr. Harrell added, we added it under number 3 for, it'll count as a proclamation, I guess. The oath administered to attorney or clerk. I've never experienced that here, other than the results of an election, not the results of a hire. But that was pointed out by a citizen, so we'll all live and learn. All right, are we good with that? Anything else? So I need a motion to approve additions, deletions, changes, and approval of the agenda.
So moved.
The motion was made by Mr. Harrell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Kuhn, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Say nay, nobody. So that's a 4-0. Now, agenda item, not agenda, but yeah, item number 2, approval of the minutes. We still have a big stack of minutes going back all the way from December 25, and here it is, August of 26. They have been posted online, I believe, and we have them in our packet as of last month. I'd still like to look over those because there's so much on each of those. I'd like to table that, but of course I need a second to table it, but I'd like to make a motion to table it. Yes?
I also, that was another subject, I got a call about, and I was reviewing those, but, one that, the beginning of the packet, June 22nd, there was an error with the scan, it left out the business. So I moved that we table the approval of the minutes.
So we have a motion to table the minutes and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
I'm out.
I did the same thing. So 4-0 ayes. Item number 3, this is where the proclamations, presentations. A proclamation is when you declare like drug-free week in the school, something like to that effect. A presentation, the last one I remember, well, 2 I remember. What's his name? The crossing guy?
Yeah.
Who's the crossing guy?
Mr. Jean.
Gene,
Yeah,
yes,
Mr.
Gene
Gene.
Shaw.
Mr. Jean was recognized for spending a zillion years with the sheriff's department and crossing guard. And then Guardian for Change was recognized as helping us so much with our community yard sale. Both of those things were placed on the agenda well in advance. The clerk knew about it as well as the mayor who was doing the agenda at that time. Today we have the oath to administer the attorney and the clerk. Mr. Ireland, would you like to go first? Age over beauty? I guess you're gonna repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States
and obey the laws of the United States
and the state of Florida, that I will,
and the state of Florida, and I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions of the charter
observe the provisions of the charter
and ordinances of the town of Fort White,
and ordinances of the town of Fort White,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of attorney.
I will faithfully discharge the duties of the town attorney.
Thank you.
So help me God.
And we have a second one for our clerk, Mr. Glenn Hunter. I'm gonna repeat. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and will obey the laws
that I will support the Constitution and obey the laws
of the United States and of the state of Florida,
of the United States and the state of Florida,
that I will, in all respects,
and that I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the town of Fort White,
and ordinances of the town of Fort White,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of town clerk.
of the office of town clerk.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 5. I'm noting there's not an item 4. You don't know that. Item
That's
5.
because we took something out and we didn't remember the correct. I apologize for that.
Clerk's report. We're gonna hand that right over to you, Glenn.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to kind of give you an update of the office and especially in consideration of when you asked me to come on board, you asked me to give you an overview of exactly as things were that we could see in the office and try to work towards getting those things corrected. So first and foremost, it wasn't but a couple of days that we recognized that there was a security issue with Town Hall, that access of this office was being violated, and we determined this through the alarm system. So there were people coming into this office, we had set some things in the alarm system, and when we come back, it was something, it was different. So with that said, that created some concerns. So we then moved on to cameras, which are part of the security system. We had asked several members in the office and some of you on the council, if not all of you, did anybody know anything about the security cameras that were in the office here? So it was determined that there were 2 sets of cameras. You had a set of cameras here, a white camera, another camera. Those were typically Amazon residential type camera systems. No one knew any information about those, and they were actually app accessible. So it could be that somebody was out utilizing them, but nobody knew who had access to those. The other camera was part of the Simply Safe camera system that was by the front door. And again, office staff knew nothing about those cameras. No one was aware of those cameras. So we contacted Simply Safe and asked them for information, and they said, well, you need to have a safe word to access those that camera. So that camera is tied to Simply Safe system. So once again, we asked for that information, and we had no way to access that through Simply Safe, because apparently there was a required safe word for that system. So we went into the computers, and we found that in the assistant clerk's computer, we found a safe word. And so we utilized that safe word and were able to access through Simply Safe all the data related to the camera. And so with that being said, it was determined that we're still pulling information. Now we've got the high-tech internet people with Simply Safe going through and running through the systems. But it was determined that that someone in the office had access and had actually contacted Simply Safe and had used their name, and their name was in the assistant clerk's office. And that had, there's several different logs in there of requests made of Simply Safe, and some of that information related to asking to delete pictures and specific times and so forth. So at the end of the day, the bottom line was we were concerned, and this happened very close on the front end. What really alerted us to it is that when we suspected something, because those cameras have sound and video, I don't know about the two residential cameras, but we even unplugged the camera and found it was still alive because it had a tremendous battery backup system. So with that being said, right off the bat, we recognized there may be a problem, someone may be listening, so we did a false test. And we threw out some information about the cameras and expenses and cost. Well, it wasn't 1 or 2 days, we had public records requests for that information. And we actually had people wanting to know where we had placed the new cameras. We hadn't bought any new cameras, and we hadn't replaced them. But we had done that because we suspected something. So with that being said, we took all the cameras out and we changed the locks on the doors. So we're the only ones that have access to that. And the biggest concern about that is you with your computer system, these doors here are locked. But I gotta tell you, I actually left my keys in the office the other day. I had to crawl through the window to get the keys. So it's not very secure or safe. However, we do have the doors to the exterior secured right now. So we're continuing to move forward with that investigation. We will have, and we do have, I do have some documents that show where an individual went through and did try to delete pictures inside the system. So, but we're gonna get more information as they go through a greater search. So, any questions on that? Cameras? Security?
It just sounds crazy.
As far as security, you said you changed locks on
We
the
changed the
door.
locks on all 4 locks, and we changed those locks.
I was here in town hall with you, discussing something one day, and Glenn's floor care staff member came in, and they also had access to come in after hours and get supplies and things like that from is that been resolved?
We asked them, and Christie, correct me on this, but they said they hadn't been in the office. Is that correct?
They hadn't, and we recommended, actually, Glenn agreed that the worker would come while I was in office, so we didn't have to give out the extra, another key.
Cause I know that day after she left, me and you discussed whether or not that office was secure, and we discussed that rolling window then, so.
But we're secure now to the outside, except that second stage is not secure.
Right, okay.
Okay? So, with that, I'll move on, and, the next thing that we've noticed is that, the bank statements, have not been reconciled since, the end of the 24-25 budget year. So, we're working to rectify that, to bring everything up to current year. Now, that is the budget that's being audited right now. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that budget's moving along pretty well right now. I don't believe any of you had a financial statement in probably a year. And I would think that might have something to do with all the work that was put into the 24-25 budget year. All the energy was put there, and the things going forward weren't correct. So you really couldn't get a financial statement. Now, you could get an estimate or an approximation. You can look at your bank statements, but I will tell you this, I've got a lot of checks here that need to be signed, and this is about half of them, so we're behind in some things almost a year. So, and anyway, we'll deal with that. We found checks in the files that were not deposited for 60 days, 90 days. We found actually checks that were written. Found a check on the floor that was for a local vendor from 25. Any questions on any of that? Going forward, we also found cash in the assistant clerk's desk. Good hit on your part there to talk about cash, because I totally agree with not taking cash. But there was a little over $900 with no backup receipts or anything in the drawer. So we quickly called the accountant, and I couldn't get anybody. I asked Catherine Terry to come up, and we took pictures of this, all of this, to make sure that everybody saw that we immediately deposited those funds. The accountant will correct it. Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to add, it wasn't like in a drawer for secure. It was in drawers and cabinets all over the place in there.
Yes.
If you were running your home or your personal business like that, I can't imagine how you'd be successful.
So anyway, I'll move on to the next thing, if there's no more questions there. We've also, found tens of thousands of dollars of, items that, need to be invoiced on contracts with the state, like your street lighting and so forth. I think one was 21,000, one was 14,000, they haven't been billed. I don't know if there's a time when you can lose that opportunity to collect those funds, but we checked on that, we will be able to get our funds, but going on for, we're back in the 8th or 9th month, and we could have been paid back then. Now, not that we don't need the money, this town needs the money. So those are some processes that we're gonna work on to get in place going forward. Also, we went through payroll, and we're gonna be working with the CPA to go through and rectify. We found some inconsistencies in the way the payroll is being calculated. We also found where rates in payroll were not what they should be. And I won't go into all of that right now, but we'll be able to discuss that at a later date. But quite a significant amount of dollars, because it wasn't authorized to be that, and it didn't get changed. So that's my first part of my report. So let me go on to the bear with me just a second. I'm getting down here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so number two, the status of contracts for code enforcement and attorney. I do believe that in that particular contract, y'all have approved Willdan for code enforcement. They're a group that's located in California, and they have offices in Orlando. I think right now they are working for the town of Hot Springs. And so I think that's what I saw going back and looking in the past. There was an issue with venue for California as opposed to Florida. The attorney doesn't want to fly out to California in case of a lawsuit. So they have sent documentation to correct that, so the venue would be Florida. So, and so we can approve that down here. That's the will of the board to do that. I would say you probably still need to have that approved. Okay. So let me move on to updates for charter republication codification project. Spoke with Marilyn Kane, and they were needing clarification. There were 5 items. You've got several different charter pieces that are out there. There were things that have been changed, that they haven't been codified, they haven't been corrected. We needed to give her some direction, so we basically, they were needing primarily the original 1957 charter, and then the 2023-344 committee substitute for House Bill 1565. That will be what they need to bring the charter for republication up to date, is what they're telling us, and I think that can take place 30 to 60 days. They're going to start. That's already been sent over as of today for review for the editorial group to review and prepare. So that's one item that's done. Let me. Any questions on that? Okay. So I'll move on to the annual audit.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
The codification project,
Yes.
you said you did the update on the charter codification.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not have that? I thought I had Unicode. I thought I had that further down. I didn't. Okay, let me bring you up to speed on that. I wanted to recommend to the board tonight. That's that document has been prepared, I believe it, from May of 25. It was when it was sent to this board, and there's been no action on that. There's approximately 197 pages in that document, and it requires the board's review. I want to make a recommendation to you that we have 4 workshops, 2 hours, maybe in the afternoon, in the month of September, to work around some schedules, not to press you too hard, but perhaps we can break it up into 4th pieces we can finish it up and get that Unicode finished and done, if you want to do that. So that would be my recommendation to you, and I can set a schedule to get with all of you to find out if that's if that's the direction you want to go. I don't think you probably want to sit down and do one meeting with that much material, but I don't know what your preference would be.
I think that's a good start, because, this project's been going on, I think, since 2021. And that will publish all of our ordinances and some more permanent resolutions, charter, LECs, I believe, so, and then get those published online where citizens can, access those and know,
But perhaps maybe we could do a little better job by breaking it up into fours.
oh,
And
absolutely.
let's be on your time schedule, whatever you all want to do.
Do you want to coordinate those workshops via email?
I can do that, and I can just communicate with all of you and find out what are some good times. What's good times for you? I guess you get in later in the afternoon,
6 is fine.
6, okay. That won't be afternoon, brother.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll, is there any more questions on the community code?
I got a question. That's a question.
So just a report, so.
I just want to ask a question.
So anyway, I'll move on to the annual audit. The audit, of course, 24-25 is way past due. The state is very interested in us getting that completed. Has a lot of effect on the grants that we write and that we move forward with. Talking to the auditor, they have the final stuff. I actually asked Powell to come in prior to August and put in about 4 or 5 hours in the office here with us. And I reminded him of an invoice that there needed to be some corrections. So I said, you're not going to charge for this. Let's move forward with this. And hopefully we can wipe the slate clean with that and move forward. So with that being said, pretty much been assured we can have that done by the end of September. The audit for 24-25. You writing that down, Bill?
Thank
Yes, sir.
Has there been any reason for why it's overdue or past due? I mean, it's.
For the audit. One of the biggest problems was, I don't think anybody really wanted to stay with it because of the amount of coding errors, that were, in the year or 24-25. And when it gets so far out, it gets a little more difficult, to do. On a good note, we will be ready to start the 25-26 audit right after October 1st. We'll be ready to have the books in shape because we'll be working to have your bank reconciliations done up to par. And we'll be working to, lost my train of thought, I'm getting a little old, so bear with me a second. But we'll have the bank reconciliations done, and then we can actually start that process and finalize getting that. It shouldn't take us that long because we will actually be working as we're bringing all the material forward for bank reconciliation and for getting the finances correct. We'll be correcting things. So that's what our goal is, to get to the end of this year and to start fresh. So there's no reason for us to be behind. It's very important when we're dealing with these grants and with the state agencies. The state, we're on notice with the state, they see that, and they're sending letters. So we want to stop that in its tracks.
So let me ask you a question then. When you say coding errors, I don't know what that means. I'm not an accountant. Is that errors that the town made that have to be fixed?
It's what you put into the system. It's you have your book of accounts. And so when you've got grants, as detailed as a lot of these grants are, and you're trying to separate all of these items and someone just writes a check and you don't have it coded, then somebody's got to go back. It's 1,000 times harder after the fact to try to code it and find it. So it takes a significant amount of time and energy, and it's just not a healthy situation. We want to be on top of that, starting the first of the year, with the process that we're working to put in place with that. So I will say this, one of the things that we did is we looked at your accounting system, which is you've got a desktop QuickBooks. we've gone ahead and converted over, we're still in QuickBooks, but we've converted over to online QuickBooks. And the reason we went ahead with online QuickBooks is cheaper. We just got a bill from QuickBooks for like $2,000 to update. Our monthly fee on QuickBooks will be $140 a month. So with that being said, but also they take responsibility for filing all the payroll, the RT6, all of our payroll stuff is all processed through them, and they take responsibility for the errors. So that's going to save and make it a lot more efficient for us in the office. That's understood. And then another good aspect of this, working with an accountant off-site, and you do have a contract up here for moving forward for the year, is right now there's no way to control this office. You got two people. Somebody could be making up bogus corporations and writing checks to a bogus corporation. And then a check is written and nobody's reviewed it, and you better try to reconcile these accounts 9 months later, a year later. It's actually after a while you get tired and you have no idea what really happened. Also, controlling the payroll accounts through your accountant, you can ensure that you can put safeguards there so the employees in the office can't manipulate that. And that can be done because you just don't want that to be where someone can go and say, I think I'll change it $1 an hour. Who's going to know that? And those are some concerns that we have, we're investigating and reviewing right now. So, that's the audit. We move on to budget. We will be working in the next week or two. We'll be putting together the budget for 2026, 27, working with the accountant to get that process started. We will then work with the board members, have a workshop, and then we'll have a public hearing in September to have your budget online by the 1st of October. So that's being planned. I don't know what your past years have done. We'll have that information for all of you to review, and we should be right on target with that. That's all we got. That's all time.
Thank you. Okay, item 6, attorney's report. Mr. Ireland.
Yes, first item on my report is the status of, here, status of unqualified / ineligible candidates. I was asked to look into that. After this time that I was asked to look into it, the opinion came down, or the order came down from the judge in Tallahassee, Judge Frank, in the Collins, Governor Collins versus James Fishback case. And he pretty well cleared out the language as far as what the law is in two respects in that opinion. First, he cites the Bloomfield versus City of St. Petersburg case, and for the facts of the holding sets forth a binding analysis on this court. Residency is determined by subjective intent and overt acts. This is one of the issues of residency. Florida courts have consistently recognized that an individual's intent is a subjective factor, and quote, the best for one's domicile is where the person says it is. He goes before that. He talks about the fact that courts really need to stay out of politics. Even if there's doubt or ambiguities as to eligibility, they should be resolved in favor of free expression of the people in relationship to the challenge provisions of the Constitution. It is the sovereign right of people to select their own officers, and the rule is against imposing disqualification to run. The lexicon of the democracy condemns all attempts to restrict one's right to run for office. Given that background, and given the fact that in some of the information that I was provided, there appears to be I don't know anything about social media, but some intent back in March of 2025 by the candidates being questioned that they have made a decision to move into the house. We're now officially a resident of downtown Fort White. I don't think there's any greater indication of intent than that, and I don't think any judge would touch that. So I will not be involved with I have that obligation on my
Any questions on that?
I have a question.
Sure.
So, we previously asked a question about the charter language that says that the council shall be the judge of the qualifications of election, and you said, you know, we'll take the adoption of the election code, you didn't.
I don't see that, I mean, that really would make y'all a veto over anybody wanting a problem. And I don't think anywhere in the world that constitutes.
Well, my question is, if the language is in there and it survived, and there's case law that shows that that was, the ruling, rule of law, and the courts recognize that as a valid rule of law.
I haven't seen that case.
I've forwarded you some cases on that.
I've read everything you sent me, I haven't read that.
Well, my question to you is, if it's in our charter, and you say it's useless, then what's the purpose of it being in our charter? And I'll follow up with that.
Let me
I
answer that question
understand.
first.
Okay.
There's a lot in that charter that's useless. I ain't right, and there's a lot in that charter that really needs to be redrafted, but that's another day.
Well, my question is, if it's in there and it says that it's subject to review by a judge, then isn't that the check and balance?
If you want to take that position and go for some judge of that position, then that's up to this council to make that decision. But I would certainly recommend against it. I don't think there's a rule, there's a statute there called 57.105. And it says if you file a lawsuit that's not based on fact or supported by the law, then you're gonna be paying somebody else's attorney's fees. And I think it's my job to keep y'all from doing that. That's the other thing to the law.
But the charter is the law.
If it's unconstitutional, it's not the law. And whenever you take 5 people and they determine who's gonna run for public office, that ain't constitutional.
So when the people spoke and the people passed the charter and made that the law, they spoke then, how are you saying that the people get to speak during an election and violate the laws that they passed? And actually, that's was passed by a legislative act, so.
Councilman, there are laws that are passed every day by the legislature that are overturned by the Florida Supreme Court. There are laws that are passed by the United States Congress that are overturned by the United States Supreme Court. That's the ultimate end of it. And the Constitution just trumps everything.
The Constitution says that our,
Constitution says y'all can't beat the people running for public office. You can't say, I don't like him because he's got red hair, so I don't want him to be on the council.
I
moved
moved,
voted against me last time, you know?
I moved that we seek an attorney general's opinion to get clarification on our charter language.
I love the language.
The charter cleared, it gives the authority to the council, and it says the judge is subject to judicial review. So, I mean, that was written by attorneys, it was approved by attorneys, it was approved by legislatures, and they're telling us something different, so.
Section 9. Article 2, I believe, section 9.
It's in there a couple times.
Even motion was.
The motion is to seek an attorney general's opinion on whether or not the board or the council can, for lack of a better word, veto a candidate or determine a candidate.
I'll repeat the motion. Not suggest we veto a candidate. I move that we get an attorney general's opinion on the charter clause that's in there more than once, that the council shall be the judge of the election and qualifications of its members.
Do we have a second? So there's not a second, so that has failed. Do we have any other comment on that subject, Mr. Ireland?
Not for me.
Okay, Monty Harrell.
If I'm the only one defending the charter, then so be it, you know? If nobody else cares what the charter says and wants to, allow the charter to be violated, then it is what it is.
And with that, I'll move on to the next issue, which is mayor's malfeasance, neglect of duty, and violation of the oath of office. Mr. Harold asked me whether the mayor refused to sign the authorization of the town clerk, except with violation of those provisions. I did some research on it, and I think he suggested, if I remember correctly, to make a referral to the governor. I gave you an opinion on July the 30th, 2026, which says the governor cannot do that. The only provision is for removal of any member of the governing body of municipality for malfeasance, misfeasance, and neglect would be a petition for recall under the statute, which is Florida Statute 100.3. There's a specific case, it's an interesting case where the dealt with Jacksonville, Duval County. And the issue was whether the governor could remove the mayor of Jacksonville County. It said that if he was not, that if Duval County was a municipality, he couldn't. If Jacksonville was not a municipality, then he could. So that's, there's some other cases that go along the same line. Any questions on that?
So you're saying, I specifically asked you if the mayor, representing to the Florida legislature in an email, did you get that? He represented himself as the authority.
That would have been under malfeasance and misfeasance, and again, it's the same thing. What he does. And the question I got was in my mind anyway was how could he be removed?
No, I think it was perjury. If he perjured himself when he represented himself as the authority to represent Fort White without approval from the council,
Was he under oath?
he signed a sworn statement, yes.
That's not good information I have here.
He sent 2 sworn statements for 2 different legislative appropriations to the legislature. And he had to swear that he was authorized, the authorized authority for the Fort White town. And he had not been authorized by the town council, nor had he ever discussed those 2 legislative appropriation requests with the council.
And that's a question for the state attorney. I don't prosecute.
And since you mentioned state attorney, did you forward the information to the state attorney that we asked you to forward, in reference to the unqualified candidate signing the sworn oath?
No, because I think, because that's the meeting came down and said that that's not perfect. You said, number one, you can't lie about your intention. And he says that the intention is what controls residency. And there was a, going back, I guess. There's a social media, like the word on March the 5th, 2025, we have made the decision to move into the house, which is the house across the street from the Collective Food Garden. We are now officially residents of downtown Fort White. So,
However, they never did.
well,
And they never registered a vote during that period of time. That's a well-known fact.
that's not in the information that you gave me.
Yeah, it is. There were social media posts that they registered to vote in town was in January of 2026.
Registered to vote is not, I'm not here to debate you, but registered to vote is not a part of residency. I can be a resident, I can consider Fort White my residence if I had lived here. And I consider that myself to be my residence, even though I have a house in Gainesville and a big place in Jack.
But you can own a house in a city and not live there and consider that your residence.
In this case, the Fishback case, this guy, to be governor of Florida, to run for governor of Florida, he's got to be a resident for 6 or 7 years. He was in Washington DC for 2 of those years. Claim homestead up in Washington DC. Just said, too bad, so sad.
Well, I did read that case, and one of the factors in that case was the fact that once you establish residency, you retain that until you establish it somewhere else. So if you apply that principle here, the unqualified candidate established residency outside of the town of Fort White, and he never established it here. Up until the day he signed that oath, he had not established residency here. So that's my point.
Respectfully disagree.
You don't live in town, so you don't know.
That's not true.
Okay, let's move on.
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
All I want to know is, what can we do about these checks and contract the mayor not signing? Can she sign them?
You can.
Assistant mayor?
Yeah, we've already had,
If he refuses to sign these checks and contracts?
I thought we'd already
We
done
already
that.
addressed that.
We've done that.
I
We've
think we did.
got 3 people on the bank account, right? We had the clerk on the
Yes.
account and 2 else. So one of them and the clerk can sign in a check.
What about contracts?
Contracts, I don't know. I really don't know. I've never run into the problem.
Now, you did point out that at one point in the charter, it says the mayor will execute contracts when approved by the council. But then down at the bottom, it says no contracts are valid or something that unless approved by the clerk and a council member. So there's,
Exactly what I said a while ago about the
No,
charter.
right.
If he's not gonna sign these things, then somebody has a motion to, or a petition for recall.
Somebody's gonna what? I'm sorry.
I filed a petition for recall, but don't have to. On this, our lack of duty, because he swore to do the job.
well, do that, couldn't we just file a motion for, mandamus or whatever from the court? Get the judge ordering to do it?
The cases that I have seen says the way to do it is by that statute that I did, which is the petition for recall. Because the way it's set in the statute to do something, you can't go around it.
But I'm saying the judge would order him to do that if we filed for a writ of mandamus.
Mandamus,
Yes. Well, isn't that the purpose of
the
that?
mandamus is to do a ministerial act, yes. If y'all want to follow a real mandamus, I'll take it under a separate deal, but it's going to cost you.
Well, I mean, if our options are to start a recall petition, that takes a citizen doing that.
That's to do that, to budget citizens.
So do we just sit around and wait for a citizen to do that, or does the council vote to,
Cost citizens.
I know that the council can vote to have the judge order him to do his job.
Be happy to look into it.
Well, I guess if it gets that bad,
Now, I tell the clerk what I think, let Scott tell the clerk what I think was up, he's gonna be, so they can do this. But no, it's going. Remind us. Okay.
I have a question. I think at the prior meeting, we addressed individual council members directly reaching out to their attorney and sending you an abundance of things. Has that ceased?
To a greater extent.
So, and that was a part of why your fees were going up, right?
The fees, we had 65 hours in the first 2 or 3 months of representing and we didn't get paid for it. We did, last time, you voted for us to do these 2 things, the mayor's and the injunction issue. The fee was up to $2,500, so those are the first step, there's one over, I can't remember what it was. But, so your fees haven't gone up because of that, but they should have, candidly, but they haven't.
But I thought we agreed to cease these individual, communications, and it sounds like to me that you're still responding back and forth with individual council members.
That, I haven't done that well, with the exception of receiving from Mr. Harrell, Councilman Harrell, the information regarding the residency situation. I haven't had any conversations with him. I was then covered on a couple of emails, but we haven't communicated. That would be my preference, if all they go through the clerk. And it'll save y'all a lot of money.
I would like to make a motion that we cease all individual contact as council members with the attorney, and all communication, is communicated via our clerk.
There's a motion on the floor to cease communication from council members to the attorneys and send it through the clerk. Do I have a second? The motion does not pass. So we need to move on. I do want to say, I've never been in a situation where the quote leader just doesn't show up and blatantly violates the charter concerning banking and actions in the office. I don't understand it. As much as we can sit here and talk about it, I don't understand it. And being an athlete, like Michael Jordan couldn't just show up whenever he wanted. You know, he practiced harder than anybody else there every time. So I'll never be able to understand it, other than just waiting it all out for the seats to change. And when the seats change, the town is definitely gonna change. And I feel not for the greater good.
I just do have a question though on the contracts, Mr. Ireland. So we're saying that when we have a $12 million contract for a grant. So my question is that a council person can hold up the other 4 council persons and potentially put a grant in jeopardy?
And I just wanna say, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ireland. Mr. Ireland has never been in a kookier situation than this. So
That's right.
it's all new to you as well.
It's a lot of harsh, I apologize. Put my patience in the word. That's how we feel.
Well, it's really gonna affect the town. It's affected the town for well over a year by just having quicksand in that office and all this stuff coming out, which I knew all along. Just nothing getting done. No FERDAP, no SCOP, no historical grants, no payment of simple things.
Mr. Ireland,
Do you want us to move on, Mr. Ireland?
I'm trying to find that.
Section 46, execution of contracts and validation of town warrants. That what you look for?
I think that when I look for it, I've got 3 different sets of the chart here.
We're trying to get it republished. Glenn just gave us an update. But section 46 is what you referred to that says, no contract entered into by the town should be valid until executed on behalf of the town by the mayor or a council member and town clerk.
Okay, then you're not dead in the water.
So one of us can
How
sign.
many all in clerk can sign?
And that's what you pointed out in the
That was
previous.
the language I was
thing.
looking for. I thought it was there. They could, what we did was whenever the clerk had to sign checks.
Clerk is a part of the equation either way.
Right.
So 46 is what you're looking for.
So to answer your question, Doctor, these contracts can be signed by one of you and the clerk in their valid signing.
Thank you. That's all I need to know.
Sorry to take so long.
There should be no more hold up.
No, you're good. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Ireland.
well, there's 2 other things I've got here, and I want to bring you right quickly. You asked for the ordinance on the sewer and water, and Katie drafted one today that I need to look at, and Scott needs to look at, and we'll get that to you, recirculated, what was pretty much to death. Well done job. And then, for some reason, on mine, the updates on the resolutions regarding rules and procedures and the procurement policy. And I hate to say this, but my note on the procurement policy says that's something for a special meeting. So we don't have anything, but I'll get that back to you at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
And all that figures along.
No, before Mike, it takes a long time.
And I apologize if I've been rude, but, it's just.
No, the facts are the facts.
You're good. Okay, item number 7, report from the mayor or any council member. Item number 8, old business. We have the Wildan code enforcement contract. That's number 1. Glenn, do you want to address that?
Well,
again?
actually, you only asked for one change, and that was the venue, and I sent that to the attorneys, and that was, changed law.
And so we can make a motion to approve that.
But
Yeah,
that
I
you-
I think it was approved.
I think it was approved before, I just raised a question about the form of it. So I don't know if you were looking at the same form.
So that corrected contract's in here, so I move that we approve.
So Mr. Farrell has made a motion to approve the corrected contract of the Wildan code enforcement contract. I second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So that passes. And that was a contract that was in limbo for several months through our phantom mayor. Item number 8, under old business 2, the Richard Powell Accounting Services contract.
So you have a contract there for the coming year, should be in your packet. And that actually got initiated originally with, Mayor Thomas, working with Mr. Howell. And I think that when I came on board, I saw where you had 2 checks that were written, to Mr. Powell. One was for $5,000, one was $4,500. There was some dispute that I saw about the $5,000 check for, maybe 3 or 4 hours of time. So, this contract is set to start August 1st. And this contract will allow this office to work with him on fixing all the codes, working with us to get ready for the next audit, working on getting your financial statements up and assist us with the reconciliation. It's going to be quite a bit of work to do with that. I did get Mr. Powell to agree to not cash the $4,500 and roll that into the year's work. So with that contract as it is, now you can, I believe it's 60 or 90 days on the contract. If you walk along here and you're not happy with it, you can cancel. There is some provisions in that contract that will allow us to modify that contract so we can roll back some of the services in that contract as the year goes on. But right now, we really desperately need that contract to get to the first of the year, which is October 1st, to facilitate getting all of this work done. And I feel very confident that once you get financial statements and your bank statements that got to be reconciled monthly, that takes an awful lot of guesswork out of it. It makes it a whole lot sharper, safer to go forward, gives you a very good picture, allows your profit loss statement to be, helps you with the accuracy in the times and getting that out to you. You haven't had that in a year. None of these processes have been in place. So that's my recommendation to the board.
Am I understanding that the $5,000 check is just completely void?
No, it's void, but we'll have to write another check because those services, actually, Mr. Helfenberger, worked with Mr. Powell to get the final stuff ready for the audit for 24-25. When I called Mr. Powell in, after Mr. Helfenberger left, That never got finalized. So we brought him back in to work on that, but he also came back in and helped us, do the online, the conversion for the online, from desktop to online QuickBooks, which is
Okay.
gonna be, just a great tool for the office to utilize, and so a lot of safeguards in it for us.
Do we have a guesstimate of how many hours he'll be involved with that monthly? If you're doing
Is
a
that
monthly-
sheet, there's, what is it, 150 an hour, roughly?
Yeah,
So, you can break that back out, but you can discount it. That sheet's not in there, it does have a breakdown for that, but the total is 2250.
that's a lot of hours.
That's an annual contract.
Go ahead.
So when I saw the agenda and I saw this on there, I did call Big Pal because we had some discussion about the previous invoice. And I did not realize I hadn't seen a corrected invoice, and he pointed out to me that he did correct the invoice. So I did see a corrected
52 to
invoice.
5.
Yeah, but it wasn't just lowering the amount, he fixed the dates and some other things, so I did see that. I wasn't aware that it had been corrected, so, and then he explained that there was a, check for 4,000 and something.
4,500.
And then Joe had asked him to keep working to, get our books ready for the audit, and while they were working through this invoice issue. And then he, added another invoice, about 1,200, and then the $5,000 invoice was the 4,000 and the 1,200 combined. And so what we're left with is the invoice for 5,000. And then I talked to him about this contract, and he told me that basically what we'd be getting for this contract is a financial director for the town. And he would, reconcile all the town's transactions monthly, throughout the month. And he would be, going through those transactions and making sure they're all coded properly, so that at the end of the year, we don't have to spend a large amount of money on bookkeeping services like we're doing now.
Cleaning it up.
And then he said that it would add a layer of supervision
Oversight.
over, to prevent what you said earlier. He mentioned to me that there was some questions about some unauthorized pay in the past, and that was all being looked into. He said that he would help us with the budget. He would, last year, our budget process was a mess, kind of. And so he said he would be involved in helping us build the budget, and he would get us through that budget approval process. And then he talked about his relationship with some other clients, and he mentioned Brantford and Mayo, Callahan, Horseshoe. So I called a couple of those, and he comes highly recommended. Brantford doesn't have a contract like this with him, but when I talked to her about the details of this, she said that sounded like a really good deal to her. And she said that if he does their budget, and then they use him on an hourly rate for things, but and she said it sounded like about what she would think would be the going rate for these types of services. So with that said, I can see the benefit to having this. And then Mr. Powell mentioned that because of our relationship with him, that online QuickBooks does get us a 50% discount instead of the whatever $300 a month. Because we have a relationship with him, we'll get his 50% discount, $150 a month. So, and then what I'd like to point out is it is a 60-day notice, so it can be a short-term thing. So if we get someone hired that can do all this, then we can end that relationship. So that's my observations on this.
Are you moving up to a motion?
No, just saying what I've learned about this contract since it was placed on the agenda.
Well, I think it'll pay for itself, so I'd like to make a motion to hire him Richard Powell Accounting Services. Approve the contract. Would anyone like to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Did you want to speak at this time, Stu?
That's the agenda item.
Come on.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I'd just like to point out to you that the discussion goes after the second. That's the rule. You can follow Robert's rules. It's not you sit up there and talk for 45 minutes and then somebody seconds the motion, Mr. Harrell. That's not the way it works. You will respond for getting Robert's rules again in the process. So it would be nice if you follow the process. A couple of things I don't understand. Mr. Hunter said he's gonna roll back one of the invoice into this year's work, or next year's work. What does that mean? Because I don't know what that means. The invoice is good, you stop the invoice and he's gonna roll it back and roll it forward. I don't understand. I also don't understand the work with the audit. There seems to be a conflict on who owns Powell and Jones. And it may be that somebody maybe should have looked at the Department of State, like the city clerk or one of the trustees that are approving this, is that Powell and Jones, and Mr. Powell apparently has not divested himself, according to the state of Florida, of Powell and Jones, the auditor. So the information that Mr. Helfenberg has said, or somebody said in the past, that this would be arm's length, is not arm's length. You can't own the company and say, well, he doesn't own the company, he's part of the company, and then do the bookkeeping to the auditor. I mean, you guys can let him do that, but there's no arm's length there. That's pretty clear, so I suggest you look at that. Again, Mr. Hunter's sitting here, roll it into the work, maybe we can get to that. As far as no timesheets, Mr. Powell has always had a problem with timesheets. I don't know where he came up with $2,550 a month. I mean, and I don't, where is the sheet with his hourly rates and what he does? Where is that?
It's not there.
It's not there, so the board is suggesting that the board, apparently the clerk is suggesting that the board approve this without even seeing the basic information of what they're gonna approve. And Ms. Terry thought that was good enough without even seeing it to make a motion that it be approved. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. That's what you did. So I'll go down the list. The town approves the invoices. You were
Mr.
asked,
Helfenberger presented that corrected
you,
statement.
Town approves the invoices. This town council asked for an investigation of those invoices. Mr. Howell spoke for a few minutes about, she spoke to Dick Powell, and Dick Powell corrected his invoice, and Dick Powell corrected that invoice, and Dick Powell corrected the other invoice. Where are those corrected invoices that the town, yes, Mr. Morris, where are those corrected invoices that the town approved? That Ms. Perry's in such a rush to get him in here? For what, $1,000? How much an hour? How much you paying this guy? And first of all, 60 days is way too long to end this. But at $2,000 a month, does the clerk know how many hours, how many checks a month that the town writes? 50 checks? I mean, now that he's doing this online, he can do it in bed on Sunday morning while he's watching Face the Nation. He can do the county's books. And you'll notice that he's not here tonight to explain these invoices, Ms. Terry, or anything else that's going on here. And you can look at that, watch all you want. But he's not explaining that either. And the reason he's not explaining that is because he's got another meeting that's more important than the town of Fort White. And that's the Lakeshore Hospital Authority. So what are you guys, always the redheaded stepchildren? And the reason I ask that is because don't forget, you don't collect any taxes. You don't make any money. So it's me, Mr. Ireland, and people from Three Rivers, or anybody, maybe there's 3 people from Fort White that's at this meeting tonight. One person. So,
Where is that money coming from? It's coming from everybody. Yet Mr. Powell doesn't come here for anybody because he's too busy. And what you guys are telling me, and what Mr. Hunter has said is, the only person in Florida or Gainesville or this area who can do this is the go-to guy, Dick Powell. Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe anybody believes that. So the only question that I have, number one, I'm not in favor of this contract until you guys see the rates. We know what Mr. Ireland charges. We know what his partners at the law firm or his associates charge. It's in black and white. If you got nothing in black and white here, no invoices that you were supposed to approve, no inspection that was supposed to be done, and no Dick Powell. How is that fair for the residents of Fort Wayne and the people that pay these bills? If you can answer that straight before you vote, Mr. Cohen. And I would just like to know what, roll back, whatever he did with those invoices that Mr. Harold so eloquently explained, that doesn't have any invoices. The clerk hasn't provided the information. As a matter of fact, the clerk, I guess, has disappeared into the office. Is that where he went?
You wouldn't get what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little late now, Mr. Ireland. It's just a little late.
We'll cut you off.
And I'm gonna be finished.
Okay.
And it's an embarrassment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mine. Well, wait, that was short, you know.
He's got a rate in the contract, 22.50.
150 an hour.
Yes, 150 an hour, and that would be 15 hours a month of services. I'm gonna pause a minute to see if he comes up with it.
And I apologize, assistant clerk had to be,
I understand.
family members. Take the floor like this.
Mr. Allen, have you reviewed the contract?
I reviewed the contract, made some comments, and I think it did change.
Did you see anything that stood out to you that we should recommend changing in the contract or addressing?
There were two things I think, working on, this guy was like,
You said they already been changed, just,
I don't know, I haven't seen the contract use that. You ever tried to do the contract?
It's in this.
You think that they've changed
Take a grab real quick, I got one right here.
I'll tell you this,
I want to explain in layman's terms, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we keep talking about the codes. The codes are the identification of the monies and where they go within your budget. Like in my own home, my code would be health and beauty, food, electricity, recreation, beach. Your codes at your home might be different, but there's numerical codes for each of these money entries into these accounts. And they've just been historically thrown in there nilly-willy. And so that's part of this big mess.
Let me throw one thing out to you. I just pulled the wrong contract. The date's February 1, it's August 1st, so if you need to go back, we can just for August 1st. My assistant usually does that and not travel the wrong contract.
We have the one dated August 1st.
You should have
that's
that.
all changed. The one that I saw was effective February 2025.
That got left out.
And that changed. If that's on both, we have it first. That was the only change.
Do council members have a question concerning the motion, the contract? We have the motion, we have a second from Mr. Kuhn. All those in favor of hiring Mr. Dick Powell, Accounting Services Company, doing the contract, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. That passes 4-1.
3-1.
3-1, I'm sorry. Can't count. I appreciate the humor from our audience, but our our audience members do not participate in the vote. Okay, let's see, the next one holds Walker, that's item 3, or number 3 under old business. Holds Walker contract. In your packet, it's highlighted in pink. Would you like to tell us anything about it, Mr. Walker? We're gonna talk to you about.
I'm walking out here.
I know that, I'm sorry. I'm saying-
I think that's the same contract that y'all approved, we just haven't signed. I think it was changed later.
There was a question about this contract and the lack of a detailed bill, the 99 statement.
What that is, I found out myself, because I haven't done a permit one, that's what I told y'all a while ago, is that you're billing for everything unless it's something like the mayor's issue or those other issues are, I think, $4,000. And that's for everything we do. And that's what I was telling you, we went out like 65 hours, even video for.
Right.
For those first 2 or 3 months. But that's comes in, I think they send those out after the end of the month, just to show you what we've done. What y'all got now.
Right. And I think that when this contract was in the packet for approval last time, I think Mr. Looper got up and spoke, and we did some input. I think Mr. Merrick might have asked for that detailed bill to be in the contract. That's why it didn't get approved that night. Can we just pin any change in that?
It's in there.
It's in there?
That 99 is, I don't have it in front of me now, because I didn't get the issue. But there's over, somebody showed me a copy of the contract.
I didn't see it.
That's a great one. Give me a second.
It's under section. Under section 708.
The firm shall provide the town, or it's under section 3, the firm shall provide the town with an itemized monthly statement, client matter number 709899 of the services rendered each month indicating all time provided by the business. On the second page, section 3. About 6 months now.
Yeah, so maybe it was that.
So this is the same contract we have started.
Okay, I moved that we approve the contract.
Okay, Mr. Harold's made a motion to approve the contract for Phillips Walker. Do I have a second?
Sir,
Mr. King has seconded the motion. All those in
I
favor?
gotta slip there, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come on.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. You need to pay attention to what's going on at these meetings. I'm a little confused about the 99 was added in there, I guess right at the beginning or whenever it was. But it's in the contract, I highlighted it. And some of the town council people should probably go over this stuff before they come to the meetings. But I'm a little confused because the bill is $4,000 a month, we understand that, and the town council wanted to see who was speaking with the attorneys and what was going on, and now it would be Glenn Hunter, or something, know exactly how much time Mr. Hunter spends on the phone. I think he won't be talking so much on the phone. But I don't understand, when Folsom Walker submits the bill, and this was a problem with one of the other towns that I got your information from, Archer didn't even know that Folsom Walker was doing the 99.
I don't know.
You don't know, but I'm just,
I know I went to Arch,
I
one
just-
time, stayed a minute.
yeah, it's no problem, but they didn't even know about that stuff. So I'm not here to. So my question is, when you submit the monthly, when Folsom Walker, and you don't do that, they do that. So, and I guess the young lady over here, does she work for Folsom
We
Walker?
don't do that either.
She don't do that either.
Our bookkeeper does that. Our control.
Well, whoever does it, but Folsom Walker does it, not the firm you work.
You're right, go ahead.
So, what I'm trying to figure out is the invoice and the 99 should come concurrently. So when the monthly invoice comes, the town council knows at that time what they pay for. Or at least what the 99 says, and whatever discount they're gonna get. But I don't think that's clear here. And maybe it's not, and I'm just saying this so it's on the record, whatever record that happens to be, is that you guys invoice the town, and the reason I bring this up is because everybody pays these bills. People in Three Rivers, people in the
Let's see
land.
if I get it.
Yeah, help me.
Look at section 2.
Section 2,
Section 2 says, what we do.
well, section 2 doesn't have the 99.
If you follow with me, it's not hard.
Fine, if I can find section.
Section 2 tells you what you get for $4,000.
Right,
If we don't do any of that, we still get $4,000.
I get it,
If we do 5 times that, we still get $4,000.
I get it.
That's what it means.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Whatever you want us to do, the council wants us to do, we'll do it.
My question is this, listen, if it's good enough to say, law school 101, Mr. Arnold, it's good enough to write. I'm trying to understand what you wrote. And my question is this for the residents and the taxpayers. Does the $4,000 invoice, does that come concurrently with the 99? So when people get the monthly invoice,
I can't answer that, but I can answer it next time.
okay,
I don't answer that.
that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, motion was on the table to approve the contract. And Mr. Kuhn seconded that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So I'm hearing a 4-0 approval. So now we move on to item 9, new business. Mr. Bailey, we've had you sitting for a long time.
I got a little bit to cover tonight, so bear with me. We've been notified by DEP that cutoff will be October 12th for the last submission by the town on the current existing grant. So we know that date. We've been working, trying to encourage the contractors to get as much work done as we could. However, y'all probably noticed we're going to slow down. What we found out is contractors have not been paid since April. So we've been trying to get all that squared away today. This morning, correct, today? Correct. Today, the town finally received a reimbursement check from the state. That covers April and May. We still got June, July outstanding. August is staring us in the face as well. We've been working with the town clerk and his staff. We've been working with the county clerk of court and his staff. He reached out to the county clerk. So trying to get all this squared away. We're trying to help where we can and get everything done. I have a grants team, but anyway, Mr. Dory Hodson, she's been diligently trying to get all this squared away and all that. So our next task is we're going to try to get June and July, get the town where they can get that submittal turned in. We've been receiving paper checks. The first thing I would do is get rid of paper checks and go to electronic fund transfers. That will speed you up considerably. But more importantly, we need to get on a monthly reimbursement request program and make sure it's being done monthly. It hasn't been done, like I said, in a number of months. So that has made our job of trying to push the contractors exponentially more difficult. So they're asking us what's the deal, what's going on, kind of thing. So we're doing what we can, get you done, get you where we can get you. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news about that, but I think we've made quite a bit of headway, Mr. Hunter, over the last few weeks, and I expect that to continue. So our plan right now is to get June, July, then we'll be getting August. So come the 1st of September, we'll be doing turn around and doing August. And then we're gonna do September, and we'll get about 1 week of October in there. And we'll have a short turnaround on that, but we're working with the contractors in advance to make sure that we can maximize those fund withdrawals, for that deadline that we got. You do have a second grant. There's been some correspondence back and forth on that. That grant will cover the shortfalls that we're having on this first phase. And then we can work on the second phase with the remaining funds. I do have a couple of requests. Ms. Laurie was, like I said, she was looking over the last meeting or the last couple of meetings, and she felt like we needed to get a specific motion to make sure you're squared away. As you talked about earlier, your contracts have to be signed by the mayor or council person and the town clerk. That was not in there, so we're gonna ask that you do that as well, to add the town clerk to it, because you just had the mayor sign those. So to get that in agreement with your charter, you need to have that done. And I've given Mr. Hunter the form to do that, and submit it to DEP. So if it's agreeable to the district, the first thing I would like is a motion that would authorize and direct the mayor to execute that grant agreement, which he's done, but put that officially out there as part of a motion by the council.
Are you're asking us to approve that grant agreement?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And authorize the mayor to sign that on behalf of the town. And then the second motion will be to add Mr. Lynn Hunter as the town clerk to that grant agreement. Have an additional signatory.
So if we're changing it to match our charter, it's to add him in addition to another council member, right?
But
Instead of just the mayor.
also, it wasn't clear that you authorized the mayor to execute the agreement in the first place. That helps if it's in your hands to let it provide documentation, or tell us to provide documentation on where you authorized that agreement before. So it just needs to be clear. You kind of did it, you sort of did it kind of thing, but if you do it specifically, then we can point directly to this motion.
Okay.
I do have a question about that grant agreement, Craig. So the grant agreement hasn't been accepted yet, but it says begin date, and it's like a date back in 2024. So is part of that grant already set aside for work that's already been done, or why is that?
I'd have to go back, I don't know if you got about the 24 date, Mr. Harold, but the grant end date is like 2030 on that.
Right.
There's nothing been set aside, we just got approval that because this first grant we're gonna be short because of the deadline and all that we can use some of those funds to finish up the first phase.
Right, okay. And we're still not gonna probably get all the federal spent, correct?
Correct. I will be shocked if we did.
Right, because of the soda. Is there any discussion on approving that grant agreement, or? Anybody want to make a motion for that, or?
I make a motion that we approve the grant agreement executed by the mayor. Do we have a date on that? Or we could just make it vague like that?
Because that grant agreement.
Yes.
Yes.
Did I understand correctly, the motion would be to either have the mayor or a council member sign?
I believe the mayor already signed it. Or the mayor, it's on the agreement already for the mayor to sign it.
If he signed it, that's fine. We don't want to get in a situation.
July 120, still 24, July 124, so this is just a continuation of the original step, wasn't it?
Yes, that's what it's in for.
will there be a future one?
It's just this,
In
that's
case
just
the
the
mayor's
award.
not
This is the one that we've
That
done.
we didn't
That's
have
the-
the
that's
council
the
on there.
award that's coming.
Council
That's the next phase of the award, the short meeting.
And that's the second motion to have you as the,
Yes.
so the first one was just to, as my motion was
And
to,
I'm sure we can probably amend it to go and have a council person sign.
We need to-
my motion was to approve it as is, with the mayor executing
This is
it.
why it's touched.
I don't see a specific date.
That's WGO 46.
This will be
Mm-mm.
QG,
QG 035.
Okay.
this is the new one, the new one.
Yeah, that's no date. So my motion is to approve the previously, executed grant by the mayor for QG 035.
I'm sorry, to sign.
They're already working.
Would you like to speak?
Yes, I do.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Once again, I looked at the agenda packet. I don't know if these contracts were there. I didn't notice them when it was put together. The suggested motion, I don't believe it's in the agenda packet. Suggested motion is in there. And I think that, I don't know if Mr. Bailey had a dream about this motion, but these suggested motions need to be in the packets. Is that there, the suggested motion?
The what?
The suggested motion?
No.
No. So that needs to be done before the meetings. This is not the first time North Florida Professional Services has done this, either this town or at the Water Management District. It's time that the North Florida Professional Services needs to sharpen up. The whole question with how they were hired is an issue, which nobody's brought up. I'm looking into that, where they were a sole source right at the beginning. And for that kind of money, $24 million worth of contracts, I believe sole source is exactly what some people in Gainesville might call kosher. And I think that these suggested motions so that the public is aware, because this is everybody's money, some of it's federal, some of it's state, this is everybody's taxes, that the people have to be aware of what's going on. And Mr. Bailey's making a lot of money doing this, so I think that when he wants to come with suggested motions and ask people to sign things, and says we can modify this and modify that, that has to be done before the meetings of the town council and the public knows what's going on. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Want to repeat the motion one more time, please?
I made a motion that we approve the executed grant previously executed by the mayor for QG 035.
Mr. Coon seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Opposed? So that passes 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
The second motion is, that I move that we add the town clerk as the, authorized to sign any preceding, contracts in addition to a council member,
And that's to bring you into compliance with
the ordinance.
the section 46 we talked about earlier tonight. That's all that is, it's just a housekeeping.
Do I have a second?
I'll say,
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? So that also passes. While you're up here, can we talk about what Mr. Coon added?
The project coordinator, which was one extra.
Yes.
Is there any oversight? Like, is there a current project coordinator? Who were, the major things I want to know, who were these delinquencies communicated with?
our contract does not include construction of. Okay. Informed you all that, I think a couple of times at least. If you want that, we can certainly, help provide that. There are other options. I don't know if you have anybody else, but you have to go through a procurement process to do that as well. I don't know if you have anybody on your staff who can do that. Like I said, if you want, we can certainly give you a proposal to do it. What are you looking, what kind of services or what kind of?
Well, I mean, we need at least somebody putting our eyes on what's going on. I mean, we need somebody to say, hey, y'all come back and fix this road, y'all got toward the hill back before you go any further. They're looking at what they're doing before they cover it up, before we have a big mess down the road.
Well, some of the cuts, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Coon, I had, as long as they keep them halfway maintained, and maybe we need to get on the contract about maintaining a little bit better, but whenever you cut a road and lay a pipe, a lot of times you go back and just pave back over right then. Within a year, you end up with a little depression there. So I like to let that dirt and that base material compact and gets back down to something else. Uline Street over here, you've got a grant to repave the whole road. So we're waiting until all that work gets finished. There's still a little bit more work over there and make sure the contractor's out of there. Let all tear the road up again after we freshly pave the whole thing, but that whole road will get repaved there. The other area will get patches that have outlined in the plans for them to do once we get to that point.
I'm not asking for them to pave it right away, I'm just asking to put some lime rock, something to make it smoother. I mean, we asked our guys to go do it the other day, and it made it better, but they didn't do it like it should be.
I'll be glad to address it. I got a guy that comes by about once a week just to make sure as far as the grants documentation, to keep this squared away with the grant agency on that. If that will suffice, if you want a little bit more, then we can certainly talk about it.
Well, we need to look at something, I mean, the council, that's a big project, and then we have nobody looking over it as far as on site.
So, later in the week, Ricky Hendricks, who you have assigned to this project, he's gonna come down. We're gonna do a full assessment of all the construction projects from the start date to where it's progressed and then where it's supposed to end and take a look at that. I think once I get a chance to see the entire contract and how everything's laid out, then working with him, coming down once a week or twice a week, working on the project, I can be your eyes on the site. That's because I don't think you're asking us to certify that the construction meets federal guidelines for whatever, that's your job on that side. But the oversight you're looking at is the things related to the extraneous things.
Just day-to-day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so actually you've worked with the department here, so we've actually gone down and actually fixed some of those holes, but they're gonna continue to drop. It takes months for that to compact. And of course, we could actually look and see, but I hope they compacted lifts when they do those projects.
They do, so whenever you've got a narrow trench like that, it doesn't matter, you're still gonna have a little bit of settlement if you go back, so more time we can get on it to pack it and then replace it. And we can bring it, the contractor's supposed to maintain that, and if they're not maintaining it, we can bring it to the contractor.
That's what I'm asking, because it's not being maintained. If people on Facebook dropping about our road down, they're rough,
They're terrible.
and they can be better with just some lime rock or something.
I hate to get this stuff in, if we pay the contractor, I can get a better response.
I agree 100%. And that's another thing, you can make sure that we're to the point where they're saying we need this money. Are they up to that point where they did that job?
Oh, we're doing that, we do that.
Y'all do that?
We do that every month, that's part of the grant documentation, so we're approving their pay request. We're verifying that they've done the work that they're invoicing for.
Okay.
That's being done, yes, sir. So, but
That's
that's
just make a check.
That's not the expense, but we just.
They don't want to work without being paid, I don't blame them.
Not sure. Oh, great, so, and, all fairness to you, I do remember several times you brought up the fact that as the engineer firm, that you would inspect the engineering specs and do certain inspections, but, I mean, even our, wonderful county commissioner, Rocky Ford, pointed out that that does not, you know, equate to a project manager being down here overseeing the project and making sure the contractors are, doing their job, you know what I'm saying? So along that line, to add to what Bill's saying, and I think Monica's touched on, is, you know, and I know we're kind of at the end of the first phase, or we're working toward the end, but I think it's just gonna go right into the other. I don't know how this, you know, will work. I don't know if we gotta do procurement on the new grant and all that stuff. But I think that moving forward, it may be too late for first phase, but I think moving forward, we need to have some sort of project manager down here. I think if it was a county project, they have staff, you know, that can do that, but we don't. So if we need to put out, you know, RFQ or RFP for that, and include that, because, you know, I think we all know that nobody keeping an eye, you know, you have to inspect what you expect. And so I drove up on stuff that I thought, oh my God, where's the road signs, where's the cones? And I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything wrong, but
Bringing back, that this thing kind of got started, the county and town were working together, a discussion at that time, the county was going to do.
exactly.
Because they got their own in-house inspector. to do that.
I think that's why Mr. Ford brought it up, because, you know, he was trying to make us aware that, you know, we don't have something in place for that, and that, you know, you said, you know, hey, we'll help out, but, you know, I think we did need a project manager, and it may not be a full-time deal, but it may be something where we have to contract somebody to be on the project, you know, a few times a week, and making sure they're doing maintenance traffic properly, and, you know, all that good stuff.
The issue with MOT is if you're not here almost every minute of the day, then sometimes that may not meet the standards that you want to have met.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about.
So,
So, I mean, you know, everybody knows if you're not, somebody's not standing over you, watching, you know, people cut corners, and it's a lot cheaper to do it without, and paying those people to stand there and hold the sign, and, you know, but some of this is going to go down 47 and, you know, 27, and so, I mean, we got major highways that are going to be involved here in the near future, so, that's my thoughts on it. I think we do need a project manager in the future.
thing about the DOT highway, we're directional drilling those, so we're not open cut those roads.
Right.
So we don't have any activity out there in the state highways.
But anyhow, if you could kind of guide us on that, so while we,
Or Mr. Hunter,
thanks,
get something like that.
appreciate it.
I have a question for Mr. Hunter. Mr. Bailey mentioned electronic funds transfers being needed. That's a capability of online QuickBooks, correct?
Well, we're already working on that through the state, so that's DEP, they'll actually directly deposit those right into our account, so that's something that's been needed. That'll save 2 weeks.
But in regards to like paying vendors, like on the.
We'll still cut you. Code all those accounts, that's not gonna be, that won't hold us up.
Yeah.
We just got the money today to pay the contractors and the checks are sitting right here. So all that's done, we're ready to go, we just need to get signatures.
It's mainly keeping the paperwork filed on time and on a continual cycle. Like that needs to be done monthly. The town, just more information, that typically these grants are done on a reimbursement where you've got to write the check, you got to pay the contractors, the vendors and all that, and then make the reimbursement with cancel check. These particular grants here, you're able to make that request for funds, it's just an invoice. So the town doesn't have to carry, they don't have the cost of carrying the project and financing.
I got one more question for you. So we had a, planning and zoning issue come for the council. It did go for the planning and zoning board beforehand, but, it was an annexation. It's a out-of-town investor that wants to bring in a fairly large, in my opinion, tract of land, and annex it into the town. and turn that into a subdivision with multiple home sites. And it's on 47 going down towards Lake City, but my thoughts on that are that if we allow someone to annex in next week, and then that project, the next phase of that project is going out in that direction, how would that affect the current residents of the town getting sewage services and the services to them? I mean, because if you plan a phase and you go in that direction, I mean, would you want to go down to the town boundaries on that main highway?
Mayor, the short answer is it should not affect the town residents. If they were doing that development, it should cover the cost of putting in that infrastructure, whatever that happens to be. I don't know if that's what question you're really asking or not, but the developers know they've got to put in paved roads, they know they've got to put in water, sewer, build a septic or whatever they got to put in, they know that's part of the project. So it should not impact the residents. If that requires an upgrade to something, then someone needs to review that development and tell them, all right, that's all we want to do, but you need to do this over here too, just to be able to certify.
So if somebody like rushed the process to get a piece of land, annexed into the town and subdivided it, then they wouldn't be entitled to 40 hookups for 40 different parcels because the grant covers it, if they were to do that before we get to them. Because my point is, I want to make sure every resident in Fort White that wants sewage gets it before somebody annexes in a new piece of property and gets service.
The grant so far has been tailored to certain, we have to give them a service map. So if it's outside that service map, then we have to show DEP what we're going to serve with that grant. So if it's outside of that, it's not part of that grant. They're not entitled to anything.
Okay, so we could safely annex something and not choose not to send that project there and then get the current residents service before we worry about that. Okay, because that's my main concern. It would be, in my opinion, unfair and unjust for the current residents of Fort White that are waiting on sewage to get, pushed to the back of the line and then somebody get annexed in and immediately get there.
Well, the gist of these grants, not specifically, but the gist of them was written in the form of basically a septic or sewer conversion. So if I've got a vacant piece of land, I don't have a septic to convert to sewer.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we struck number 2, Mary Hildred. She just pulled out. Okay, number 3, Gardening for Change, request a waiver of fees to use the community center on 2 different dates, Monday 10/5 and Saturday 10/10. I'm sorry y'all had to wait so long. That's okay. Where's Richard?
It's been a busy week, so
So we discussed this last month, we do a public free class in Fort White, because our group is in Fort White. And we call it a seed tray program. That basically, we do education on gardening, and what we do is we have this big class. A lot of people come. They get a 72 plug flat, which we supply. The soil that goes in it, we supply. We buy the seeds, we buy tools, we buy all kinds of things, and it's free for anybody that wants to come. And past couple of times we've done it, we've had quite a few people in our little room, and it just got too crowded to do stuff. We normally do 25 people for each class. There's 2 classes. We want to actually do 35 for each class. more people learn how to properly grow their own food. And so, we were hoping that we could actually use the community center for that. And, we have put in the forms and stuff like that requested, and we were just wondering if, to actually waive the fee for the community center, because putting on these 2 classes costs us over $500. And like I said, it's free for all the people that want to come.
I make a motion that we approve the Garden for Change request for waiver of the community center fees on October 5th and October the 10th, I'm assuming of 2026.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So we're good with that.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna keep you up here though. We've got an A on here, the Town of Fort White and Gardening for Change Community Yard Sale is, we've got a date determined to be October 24th. It says on here from 9 to 2, so it's actually 8 to 2. I talked with Richard today and he wanted it changed a little bit earlier. On the soccer fields, we've done that for quite a few years now, and y'all draw people, and, we do the registration through the town hall here. So I make a motion to approve that date for the yard
I
sale.
have a question, are we over reserving those fields, the soccer field that we are community center? Do we have an Excel sheet of what's going on
We
there?
use those soccer fields twice a year.
But do we know if there's any other events going on? How
Oh,
do we
no,
check?
we've already checked on
Okay.
that, yeah. And that has to go through the recreation department with the county, and Christie's already done all that. Good question, but we've done it. And I've already secured that, Portisern through Tyler Bench. So again, I make the motion to approve the community yard sale on the soccer fields for Saturday, October 24th. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the grant agreement, did we settle, did we cover that?
I think that was.
I-
think you.
Yeah, I had to put it on the agenda because I was going to ask about it, but Greg covered it, so
So,
we approved that.
We approved it, but it's
Thank goodness.
under 1A, or no, 1.
Okay, next page, town planner resignation. This would be from Michael Rankin. Glenn, you want to talk about that?
I can start the conversation.
Okay.
Mr. Rankin, I tried to reach out to Mr. Rankin right off the bat when I got here and set up meetings. Never could get a meeting set up with him. He sent in a resignation, recommended that we double our contract, and he also sent in invoices above his $10,000 contract, and I don't see anywhere where it was authorized beyond what his contract was. It's about $4,000 worth of additional services, is what he said. So, also, I'm a little confused on the process with the planner as it's presented to this board, and this board signs compliance for go to the county building department to get permits. It looks like we may have some holes in that process for what is actually needed. We reached out to other planners and tried to get, well, not tried to, we got information that we think will help secure and protect this board going forward on the needs of what y'all need to get from persons wanting to seek getting compliance, but you're gonna have to get a little more detail on this end. I don't think we can getting it. I can't find, can't really find records. I've had 3 or 4 people bring to us work that was done, but we can't seem to find. I've gone back to Mr. Rankin's emails, and I've been struggling trying to get data. I get conversations, but I don't have a packet that detail, so we were gonna actually approve, to read and have a planning meeting before this meeting this time, and when we got to looking at the work, there's no way we could put it on the agenda for y'all to approve it to go forward, so, we're working out, with those, individual companies wanting to get permits, we're gonna work to fast track that, we may have to have a couple of special meetings to get those approved, planning meetings to get those approved, because some have been waiting for a few months, to get that done, so hopefully, that's where we are, we're gonna need a planner. And so we've got a little Band-Aid process working right now, and if it's okay, I'd like to finish up that, and then we'll work on moving forward to, first door, yeah. So anyway, to get through that, and then we can hopefully get a more streamlined process, to make it easy for you to recognize the material that you need to make a decision. So that's about all I have for that, unless you get, okay.
So I know we've got some pending issues. I know Mr. Dix is still waiting on an answer. Did we ever make any headway on that, Mr. Allen?
We don't deal with the planner, I mean, we don't do planning.
No,
We're ready to do it.
Okay, so you're ready.
Yeah.
Can we,
You get somebody to do the planning, and do it. That's not in our contract.
okay,
I don't know what your regulations are.
okay, so we need to go through a planning process to wrap that up.
I've let Mr. Arnold know, excuse me, I recognize.
Just fine. Are you finished?
Well, I was just asking Mr. Allen, so we need to go through a planning process it's not as simple as just planning and passing an ordinance.
What we talked about last time, streamline. But I don't know what is streamline. I've seen everything that you sent to me, and I read everything that you sent to me, and it's still in there.
If you've not read the transcript of this.
Yes, I read the transcript.
Why aren't we enacting the order of the board from February? Yeah, I had
Because somewhere along the line, you want to listen?
I've been listening.
Somewhere along the line, there's been a question raised by the action this board took at that meeting.
If you looked in the listing of the action was improperly modified, do you know what my actual filing was? Or are you only looking at improperly modified filing by staff? The agenda minutes that y'all have on your agenda today are still referring to an application I did not file. There was what I believe is a criminal action taking in my filing that changed the nature of it. And I don't, Mr. Allen said earlier today, he discouraged you of a writ of mandamus because how expensive it was gonna cost. Look back, he said it several times, but that's what you're asking me to do. He's had a transcript that showed the order of the board and everybody is ignoring your order. And so a writ of mandamus it'll be.
Lynn, do you have any suggestions for obtaining some temporary planning services to at least look at Mr. Dix's issue? I would like to have a town-initiated zoning change for that parcel.
You agreed to that last meeting.
Right, I
What we
understand.
need to do, but I don't know what your process is.
Right, I'm asking Glenn if he's
I don't
got
know what's
any.
gonna make Brad happy, but yes, we have reached out. And we may go through the process and the board to we waive all any fees associated with this and and get that done. And do it simultaneously with the request he has for a permit, a construction permit that he has on the property. So we can do the first part on the zoning, if you understand what I'm saying. And then we can actually simultaneously be working on his permit for construction while we're doing the zoning, and the town can waive fees. And,
Right, but we all voted to, identify that there was an error made when they did the map. So we wanna, the council, it's my understanding, the council wants to initiate the zoning change on that. So do we need to approve Glenn to obtain planning services on a temporary basis in the absence of a planner to go ahead and move forward with that?
I can get
I
a
think you should do
certified
that
planner.
on your, what your, our motion is. If you give us that, then we can move it.
Okay. If
I
I
just,
need to
I'm
make
not
a
sure what
motion,
Brad wants to do. I think Brad is actually wanting you to follow through on something you executed. And I'm hearing the attorney say that won't be fully legal. There could be something there. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm trying to do is protect his property, because if he goes out there and does something, y'all, you go say, yeah, we read all we've done for. Somebody comes behind that and says, you know, you could not have done that. And it's stated court in place, tear it down. I don't want to see that happen.
Right.
I don't want to see that either.
well, I think what our previous planner suggested was that he requested zoning change, but he proved to the council that there was an error made in when they updated the map. So the council needs to initiate, the town needs to initiate the zoning change.
And that's what you voted last time.
Right. So without having a contract planner right now, I move that we authorize Glenn to obtain temporary planning services to resolve that issue.
That's whatever you board agrees to do, we'll do that.
Are we addressing the fees in that motion too? Because I don't think we ever have.
I don't know what that would cost, and I hate to wait another month to bring a proposal back to council, so.
What did you do?
What would the fees be?
What would the fee?
Can you research, or recruit planning services and what fees would be, potential fees?
Sure.
Not just for Brad Dix, but for the town of Fort White.
Sure.
Do we need to put out a advertisement for,
I don't think so, unless it's over a certain amount, which I don't think it'll be, but,
It's not.
well, not just for Brad Dix, but for, not his issue, sole issue, but because Rankin is gone. I don't wish to pay Rankin for anything over 10,000, because that's what he.
No, it's not gonna be, maybe at the most $1,000 or $2,000 at the most. And I don't think it even come close to that.
okay, so given your presumption
And I just
of.
pointed that out there.
So do we want
I haven't
to,
seen anything that you've got that reflects anything different than that.
is it? I'm so sick of hearing about this, and I wish it was just easier said than done, and I thought we resolved it over and over. So can we get this, look into this ASAP, of how much it's gonna cost the planner to do their part? And then if it takes a special meeting with us coming back, then I think we deserve it to the citizens
Yes.
to do so, and that we get everything done, because this is ridiculous.
And Mike Rankin was $125 an hour, just to throw that out. So
Well, I made a motion, do you want me to amend my motion to authorize up to a certain amount? And if it's under that, you go ahead and proceed, and if it's over that, then we have a special meeting? What amount is the council comfortable with authorizing,
What is the clerk's amount that we get? I say 2,500, but you
I was
said
thinking the same thing.
1,000, I said 2,500.
Just give that a roll, that'd be fine.
can make that a
Alright,
motion.
so I amend my motion to, I move that we allow Mr. Hunter to seek temporary planning services up to $2,500 to resolve Brad Dix's zoning issue. And that would be through the town initiating the zoning change.
I second.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. I don't know who the planner is. I understand in the background, this happened once before. The planner at one time was Brandon Stubbs, who was the county planner, who got involved in a lawsuit. Well, was involved in some issues with Red Dix. Some Dix, there's a lot of Dixes in Columbia County, I was track. And Mr. Stubbs was spirited away, as many people are, in North Florida, to North Florida Professional Services. Mr. Bailey smiles, let the record reflect that. So my question is, being North Florida Professional Service seems to have their fingers in everything, is Brandon Stubbs the planner that you have going on in the background?
That's who I've been working with.
Or are you gonna work to divest some things from North Florida Professional Services? There's plenty of planners around, and find somebody, I'm not done. And this is to the board, and find somebody who's independent. There's been a problem for a long time in this area. Mr. Ford has brought this up at various county commission meetings about the way contracts all that, and RFPs all that, and RFQs all that, and anything that starts with an R, I think is that. So, Mr. Hunter has a special relationship with North Florida Professional Services because of his years in the private sector or whatever sector he's been involved. I think that needs to be divulged. I think it's a conflict to have North Florida Professional Services involved in something else. And I think Ms. Marks was right to set a fee. $2,500 is the fee. I'm sure you could find an independent planner not hooked up with North Florida Professional Services, just to keep them straight a little bit, to have somebody find that. So I would ask that there be an motion that it not be the planner of North Florida Professional Services who was already involved in the issue with Mr. Dix. And I think I would bring that to your attention. Madam Presiding Officer, you may not know that information before you vote. It's, like I said before, everybody's money that's paid for this. Thank you very much.
I just want to clarify a statement. North Florida Professional Services has no relationship with Mr. Dix. We haven't done any work for him in the last, I don't know.
Brandon Stubbs, you do.
So I'm not sure why you're referring to it, but we don't have any relationship.
The process I'm working on, if you want to facilitate this in a fast manner, this would be the best way for me to continue to go forward. We'll get it done quickly. If not, we can go out and try to find other services that may take quite some time.
Whatever it takes to get it done as quick as possible, we put them on.
And within budget.
And we will be looking for a planner. We're just trying to expedite stuff on the table now.
And I'll say it, we're trying to clean up a bunch of messes that have been dropped in here. But we have a motion on the table, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that passes 4-0.
Oh, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd also like to make a motion that we go ahead and put out an RFQ or an RFP, that would be appropriate, for permanent town planning services.
Does that need to be in a motion?
Good job.
And before we leave the planner thing, do we need to do anything with these invoices he's attached?
I don't think they fall within the contract.
I'd like to know how much we've already given him. And,
If he's fulfilled his contract, it's 10,000, so, I don't know, if no one's approved the additional work, I don't know, I can't find how there was a provision for him to be paid that.
okay,
A couple of months ago down at the community center, he mentioned that he was getting close to the 10,000. And he said something, you know, to the effect that he was getting to the end, and he went and sat down, and he came back up and spoke, and he clarified and said, I'm not gonna stop working when I get to zero, but we may need to renegotiate. Well, that renegotiation never happened. So without the council approving anything above and beyond 10,000, I don't, once he resigned, and without negotiating the payment for additional services, I don't see how that, is our problem.
So it is what it is, and we move on. And we're getting close out there, people. Number 6, the letter from David Kraus with.
We didn't,
Wait a minute.
we had a motion, did we not need that for the
Oh, I'm sorry.
RFP?
I'm sorry. No, you said we didn't.
Within his job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just bring out the vote.
So you'll take care of that, Lynn, put that out for permanent planning.
Yes.
Number 6, letter from David Kraus, North Florida Water Utilities Authority.
So, board members, you got a copy of that letter dated July 21st from David Kraus, and that's a position that the county is no longer operating any water systems nor do they offer billing or collection services. So they said to be clear and notifying you that Columbia County has transferred all of their responsibilities for utility services in Fort White to the North Florida Water Utility Authority, and they no longer participate in interlocal agreements. That could be any day. So the board really needs to begin to take a look at what direction you want to go as it relates to your only option right now, of course, is North Florida Water Utilities. So if you're looking at something long term, if it's going to take a lot of planning and a lot of work, that's the circumstance you have right now. This is where the county is just getting out of service. It's not what they want to do.
So, Mr. Howard, last year, our town attorney and the county attorney communicated back and forth about this interlocal agreement with the county for our current arrangement. And that is the county provides us water. They do the billing, the meter reading, the maintenance operations, and they keep all the proceeds. There was a lot of discussion. I think the attorney called their attorney, and then they sent a proposed amended interlocal agreement, but we didn't approve it. So I don't know that either party actually ended the original interlocal agreement per the terms of the contract. And so my question is, can you look at our interlocal agreement with Columbia County and let us know where we stand based on this letter? Because there's, notification requirements. It says who has to notify who, and I don't know if this letter from David Kraus meets that requirement, or if the receipt of this letter starts the 1-year period. I don't know all that.
I'll check.
Thank you.
I think we need to have a workshop.
I think that's for the plan for utilities, water and sewer. That's what you
Say it
said.
again. Okay.
He said he thinks we need to have a workshop, and I
Well,
think
that
he's
would-
referring
that would fall under
to
that. That would-
utilities, water and sewer, not the workshop for, David Krause's.
But not really a letter for the sewer, yes,
But
and the water.
Lonnie wants the attorney to look into the interlocal. But,
Yeah, that can be going on while we're having a workshop.
Yeah.
That could be discussed in the workshop. Well,
I'll get that.
Okay. I don't know, is there someone here from Fort Wayne High School?
we got
what
seven.
is that?
Number 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. Plan for utility, water, sewer.
So is that a workshop that you would?
That's what, you gonna make that a motion that we have a workshop before we proceed with
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I make a motion that we have a workshop for the plan to do utilities and water and sewage in the near future. Near future.
How near?
near.
Near.
Because it's been pushed out,
Yes.
we made a motion to have it before.
We've been pushing it
So,
for 6 months.
I don't even know if another motion is needed because it's just never been said.
That's true, and we need to get on this on track.
It's through August, September's gonna be very busy. You wanna try to do a workshop in September? At the end of the year?
Yes,
Definitely before the end of the year. I don't know if, yeah. So when will the ordinance hookup, you said you had
Come
to
to your next meeting.
at the next meeting, so can we wait until we have that also? Or do we wanna proceed without it? So that way we'll know the ordinance hookup, we have that done, and then, we can proceed in that way, we can have everything, all the information that we need. I mean, that's not.
can we have a workshop, then have a meeting, if there's anything to vote on?
I don't see why not.
We did that once before,
I think you're looking at a 6 o'clock workshop, is that right?
yes.
It depends on what day.
The meeting's the third Monday, we could have the workshop for utilities next week. After we have the ordinance.
Plus your home budget workshops.
Those could be potentially before the next meeting.
If it would help, I can get you the proposed ordinance before that, talk to you about it before that, we can do circulate, look at it, and talk about it.
Sure.
Do we want to set a date or just let them work it out like he is the other special, or the other workshops for
I
the,
think just let them work it out amongst us, so
It's gonna be a very
I'd
busy
probably
month.
do, earlier meeting in advance.
Set that up for September.
So this number 8 is the Fort White High School is requesting permission to do the homecoming parade on Friday, 10/2 at 3 p.m.
I make a motion that we approve the request for Fort White High School homecoming parade Friday 10/2 at 3 p.m.
I second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And they just wanted to point out that this is an earlier date than usual with homecoming.
Who's doing the coordination with DOT? Because I think last year,
She does.
oh, she did, okay.
Yes. I can't remember her name, but remember she spoke to us down there at the community center, and she's really on top of it.
Okay.
Kathy Creole. Is that who's doing it? That's who this is from.
It's not-
Call me if you have any questions. There's
Kelly
Kathy Creole.
Matthews. Kelly Matthews is the
I
person.
just wanted to make sure that it was not anything that we coordinated.
No, they do it all. What she needed from us last year is minutes,
Okay.
because they have to turn that in, get permission from DOT.
I knew it was something we had to provide her, so it's probably what she needs.
Okay, number 9, depot rental agreement.
I requested that item and I would like for Glenn to, develop a rental agreement for the depot. Do you know if all the repairs have been made to that? Is it in,
I haven't been inside the depot since I've been here.
well, I know that, Earl was working on getting some plumbing issues. I think they actually contracted those out, or maybe Earl did them, but anyhow, Earl did
I'll
them.
take a look tomorrow.
I noticed the
See what
size had
status
been
is.
put back up, so, anyhow, the goal has been for several months to get that in rentable condition where, the residents and people have another, option to rent out, for special events or whatever. So I'd like for you to go ahead and start working on that, and if you can email the community center rental agreement to all the council members, and they can go through there and make suggestions, and then send it back to you. And then you can get a proposed, rental agreement on the agenda next month for us to approve or.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, number 10, burn permit. This is what Bill talked about.
Take care of that.
We just gotta make sure the council's okay with it.
I think I sent the, email from the gentleman
From
to
Brad. I think it's
everybody with a
Smith.
no response attached.
I think it's Brad.
It was 720, Blake Smith.
Blake, okay, yeah. I remember that.
They were asking for us to give them permission, seek approval of town property, county operated air curtain insulated. It burns cleaner and faster to get rid of the.
So Glenn, you can take care
I
of that?
think I can just send him an email.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that tomorrow.
We
Okay,
have to make a
We have
motion
to make
for
a
it.
motion.
After y'all make.
I'll make a motion, we approve the email for the air curtain. To give the county approval to give the permit for the air curtain.
I second that motion.
okay, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
They need a motion.
So number
That's the
11.
email they sent for that.
Yeah, I have.
Number 11, no cash in the office.
I make a motion that we proceed with a cashless system. With the town, like payments from any vendor or citizens.
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? So both those last two pass 4-0. Is your hand up?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Glenn, we don't have any way of taking credit card right now for anything, right?
We don't, if you want to go to that, I don't know what, I don't know how much activity that's there.
Well, I think a lot of this cash might have been for people coming in and paying for community center rentals and deposits and cash. And so, I do think that we need to get some sort of a credit card payment system in place. Because that limits people to a check or money order. And not everybody has a checking account anymore, so, and I think that we need to, do a little, research and reach out to other communities and see what they do, so the town isn't, losing a lot of the revenue to card fees and things like that. I know when I pay my taxes with the county, their fees are built into the swipe, service charge or whatever cover. So, and I think maybe Campus mentioned that they could help us with that when they did their little presentation. So Campus might be able to
Might be the easiest.
set us up with a little.
We'll look at the cost on that. It looks prohibitive, but you'll make a motion if you want to go that way. Or how you wanna do it?
Yeah, to proceed with the cashless, system, I think that was my motion. And I would like to amend it to give the citizens at least a 30-day notice, I think is fair, before we implement it.
You can do that pretty quick with credit cards.
And they'll be in here right away with this yard sale thing. $10 here and there.
So anyhow, we just need to have options for citizens so that not everybody writes paper checks.
Did you get the citizens plan check, are you coming yet?
Not yet.
We're almost there.
Oh, you skipped me.
So there's a motion.
I second.
We added a few things to the list. We didn't skip you.
Okay.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? So aye, that passes 4-0. Road fill, which is what Bill Coon requested.
Okay,
It's okay, Bill, I'm sorry, is it okay to get dirt from her yard? I mean, is that
that's what we're
digging a
gonna ask
hole?
her. It's not in her yard, it'll be part of the property. Just put it in the hole, fix it.
That's not digging a hole in
No,
her
I
property?
won't be digging a hole.
So,
To start with, I've got a guy looking at it. If he can do it, he's gonna do it next couple of days.
Okay.
If he can't, I'm asking the city to do it.
so are we gonna be back in the same situation in a couple of weeks with all of this rain? I know in the past Buster would go and there's millings down at the site down there that was just,
That's the county.
I guess, and the county gave permission for him to fill certain areas like driveways and stuff.
Well, that'd probably be better if he puts that in, if
Yeah,
he get that.
Because if not, they're gonna be requesting
And
it
then put it
again in
on
a
top.
couple of weeks.
So, if you're gonna go on private property, you're opening up a whole can of worms. Liability wise, everybody should expect the same thing. So you may wanna try to find another solution to that. I don't know what that is right now. You need a terrible contractor out here who wants to help people. But, if the city does that, you're gonna,
I understand that, but it's medical reasons, I won't help her.
and if there's a legal process for addressing that, I would certainly, I mean, I
The
have
liability, we start going another process, somebody gets hurt out there, her property and somebody else. Maybe worse than what's the guy.
and everybody wants to help. I just,
There's no question about
try to
that.
find a solution to that. Another solution.
Rocky. Thank you.
So on special occasions, we do that with the county, but we have a form that we get them to sign that saying that they release us of all liability going on their property. Like if the school bus turn around, it's on private property, they can get in and out without getting stuck, we'll fix that, something like that. But, usually get with the county, they have a form that you just get property on the sign that releases you of all liability. And we do that on special occasions with the county.
Would we need millings from the county if we did that?
I assume, I
I
guess,
think we got millers down here.
but we still would need your
Yeah,
permission
probably make a
to do
request
that.
to get you.
When we request that form, we need to request the use of those millings or?
We have a meeting Thursday night. I was glad to bring it up at the meeting. You go. Yeah, well, yeah, and she's right, milling would be the best if you put it in there. I used to have an employee that lived down that road, and I used to go pick him up all the time down there, and that road's been a mess for a real long time, and it's just got worse for years. You know, nurses are trying to get there, this lady, and they're having a hard time getting in.
They're actually parking to the marathon and walking.
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes when it rains, they're having to try to take the shoes off and walk through water and everything else.
If you, through all your connections, total, private entity, a charitable, donation would be much appreciated. I mean, if you have any contact for anybody, reach out.
I'll see what I can do, but I know milling's kind of hard to come by sometimes. Unless you get it from the county, but they have, or state, they have big stockpiles of it. But, not tough, we get a little dirty.
Yes. Thank you.
I would like to make a motion that we approve, Mr. Hunter to contact the county for that form, that waiver form, and to, request to use millings for the, use of filling the, property on the private road on Russo Court.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. So that passes 4-0.
So you're gonna ask about the millings,
I'll ask,
see about the form. Thank you.
I'll bring up David tomorrow.
And
Hard job.
do they just bring a dump truck full of millings? Cause I mean, Uline needs a sweep of that, and where that water line broke on Dorch, that's all torn up again.
Yeah, I don't, I have to ask.
Okay,
George.
This isn't that style of mittens. These are bigger chunks that won't work in a row.
I think I put them on you, Lord.
No,
Yeah.
and I don't know,
I'm just saying that this comes off the highway somewhere that they dug it up. It's bigger, it's not like you're thinking,
yeah.
one of those smooth
It has
pieces.
to be really round.
Yes.
So Glenn, you probably don't know, but if we do have some smooth back there, I mean, Joe had Earl do some on Bryant when Joe was still here. That George is all messed up and Newland's all messed up. If there's any patchwork that can be done.
I'll look and see what's available in your yard.
I don't know, we don't have any materials, Glenn, back there that's purchased with grant funds for.
We don't have any material.
We don't have nothing back there.
Nothing.
Unless pocket stuff.
We have no materials as far as millers and stuff goes. We have none of that.
There were some millings back there, not grant stuff, but, stuff used to patch Bryant. Cause I talked to Joe about that, so I don't know if there's any more of that, there were little kits that they added something to it. Okay, now the last thing we need to talk about is Mr. Cook getting paid, is his check in there? Or are we concerned of his salary being different than the express people?
Well,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I'm just asking, we're just trying to make sure the express people are not getting more per hour than he.
I'm not aware of Mr. Cook, so, but I knew there was some discrepancy, and I think, did he go ahead and get paid last week? Did he get paid, or they held his check?
I don't know, I haven't talked to him, I don't know, this comes
So
from.
we'll rectify that tomorrow, but I don't have anything on Mr. Cook here.
I know we gave him a raise when we did the budget, but I don't know if that rate is equal to what we're hiring them to express that.
We'll look at it and analyze it, if that's what you like for us to do, compare the labor finder group with your regular staff and look at your, how many years of service and where they fit with that. And if there's a discrepancy, then we'll fix it. So that's the pleasure of the council.
Yes. Okay, citizens' comments. Ms. Lori.
My name is Marilyn Fraser, and, you guys brought it up, I can't remember the name of the road, George, I guess it is, where it's really messed up.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, a couple of meetings ago, I brought it up, and y'all was gonna, I guess, do something about it, no, nothing's still been done about it. So what is gonna be done about it, or is there anything gonna be done about it?
It was patched since then, but it's already messed up again.
I think it was the North Florida Utility Authority was supposed to address it because that was where the pipe
And
burst or something,
they
right?
did, they patched it after you made your,
But she's right, it is got a pretty good hole there again.
That's
Yeah.
temporary.
yes. And they patch it, and then there's supposed to be a schedule where they come around and really do the true maintenance of it.
So the city don't have no money to fix it?
Well,
That we're not responsible for it because the North Florida Water Utility Authority fixed the pipe to where it hooked, so
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's just, it's a lot of, stuff that's going on that ain't supposed to be going on, so look like, you know, a lot of underhanded stuff going on, so look that it could be done some kind of way, somebody might, you know, like, y'all paid $5,000 for his attorney fee, that should have been fixed, if we went on the road. You know, really, I'm just saying.
Okay, thank
And
you.
also, no, I'm not done. And also, with all this construction going on, I was without, because of the contractors cut some line or something, I was without, internet for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, my daughter called Bill Coon about it, and,
They fixed it that day, didn't
they
they?
finally, well, they fixed it the next day.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just saying, what do we do about, you know, I don't have cable, I'm a widow on fixed income. I don't have cable, I can't pay $200 for cable. So that's the only way I can watch TV or watch the news, anything with internet. So I was without internet for almost 3 weeks. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I understand the construction has to go on, but it's just like, we get treated like redheaded stepchildren here in Fort White. And don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Y'all sit up there and hold y'all conversations among y'all, y'all don't care about what's going on in the city. You worried about other stuff that don't even make sense.
Ms. Fraser, didn't I call for you?
I don't know, maybe you call for my, I don't know, my daughter, I guess you did, I don't know.
Okay.
I have a chemo brain and I don't remember a lot of stuff, I do remember that.
I'm so sorry.
And what she's referring to, and I think I mentioned this before also, I think she was affected by the sidewalks going down. And then Windstream came through and do whatever they wanna do when they get ready.
Yeah.
Without a permit, and they left wires and things exposed, and so the town workers were running over the wires when they were cutting. And she was not the only one affected. Everybody over off of Jordan Street, Plymouth area was without internet.
My internet went down July the 6th, and didn't come back up until July 21st.
So that was a issue over there, and it was unrelated to that. There was an incident with the temp worker where she ran over it, and it wasn't her fault, but residents were upset because they've been dealing with it over and over, and they were like, hey, don't cut there, don't run that over. And she was like, you're not my boss, you don't tell me what to do. And we cut over these all the time. She cut over it anyways, and they were without internet again. So
Windstream said that?
no, the temp worker that we have that cuts that's cutting. So I mean, that's a whole nother issue, I think. And it wasn't on who was supposed to address it. Windstream submitted the permit for work that they've done back in 2025. They submitted the permit that we got at the last meeting, and it's already passed. Like, they've already done the work, but now they're requesting the permit. But I live in that area too, so. And I know your pain.
Glenn, can you call North Florida Water Utility Authority and ask them what status of that road being repaved in that repaired area? They've been filling it in with lime rock and that's
George's won't run to the front of the hospital, front of the fire department.
Not by the fire department.
Okay.
is that the corner of Dorch and Cullen?
They had a water leak, they dug it up, and they just passed it.
Okay.
It needs to be painted, that was a brand new paved road.
Okay, look.
The utility authority coordinated that. Yeah,
Do you want to go?
they repaired the pipe and then they passed, just covered up the hole. But it does need it, because every time it has a good rain, every time it has a good rain, it does wash out the hole and then fill up the ground off the ditch. I haven't killed it.
I think we have.
Like 45 minutes.
I do.
Citizens comment. Lori, you want to try this time?
Yes.
Say your last name, please.
It's for me, but I'm in the process of getting my person to be extract correction. So it'll be back to here's some papers if you don't mind. My thing was, because I'm a resident, what, non-resident, are you calling me non-resident or resident? Because I'm here part-time in my place of 800. Okay, so I play the township or the city, right?
We're 800.
Southwest, right here down, right down for you guys.
Is there a road?
Wilson Spring?
Yeah. Where's that part of? I'm not,
Are you past the park?
yeah, I'm past the part.
Yeah, you're probably not a resident.
Oh, I'm not a resident?
Probably not. I'm not exactly sure where.
It depends. I don't know what 800 is.
800 is right across from Mr. Matt.
Yes, you are in the town.
Oh, I know
You're a
the
resident.
town?
Yeah,
This
you're a
is
resident.
sewer and water. You're not gonna kill you with the sewer and water, but anyway. Here's some information. I filed a complaint because the street filled up there, the Springfield, and I filed it with the ethnic state. Now, I can tell you what I filed in the back about parasites, because I know I'm a health healer in Leitner. I work with I listened to Dr. Groove, Dr. Artist, Jazzy Crazy Hill. I felt a lot of people, and I know I had to go from disease. And I don't like doctors. But anyway, that basically was what was on it. They didn't send that paper back to me. The thing I sent is all about health related facts up here, what pet fuel is, we're spraying the water. Because it's two different parasites that were coming out there. I know about parasites. Well, we got human parasites too. It's sad. I had a bunch more stuff I point out because I called people today. And yes.
Okay, I got you.
You can share. I called a bunch of people today and I didn't get them calls on it or anything else. This is just spreading to warm that they sent out. I put out a bunch of stuff. Let's see. It says, I can't file a complaint because we are the town of
Mr. Ford,
Seawell.
where you going?
Hey, it'd be nice to know what town you're going under by who, or just doing what town. Unincorporated or incorporated, state, whatever. So I'm just wanna figure out what is this, the town of Fort White or the town of?
Down to Fort White, I'm not sure where you're getting that.
It says that they returned it because you filed a complaint form is filed against the town of Wells Point.
No, I filed against Fort White. Okay, it says we are Sewell's Point. I called them, okay, and it's nothing but a realty.
Yeah, but listen,
I didn't file.
but that's what this is saying. It says, I am returning a complaint to you recently filed because the complaint form is filed against the town of Sewell's Point. So that's what was on their.
Okay, well that, I didn't file it, that's what they did. Sewell's Point don't exist. It's a building company. So that was my thing, what is, I didn't file Sewell's, I don't know who did that.
That says original.
I filed against the Fort White, it says down here.
I don't have any.
But it says that's why they returned it.
It's the code of ethics and the complaint that is incomplete with an explanation of why it is being returned. I am returning complaint received filed because the complaint form is filed against, yeah, because this is the town of Fort White, you gotta read down further.
Yeah, but that was they returned
But I
it to
didn't-
you
but I
because
didn't-
you
I
filed
didn't-
it
I
on the
didn't
wrong.
file it.
Well, we didn't either.
Well, I filed against Fort White, and I.
Well, they're saying you did.
Okay, well, do me a favor, call the numbers, because there is no point, there's no town of Sewell, so I'm saying.
That's what they're telling. I mean, that's basically why they returned it to you. It's because you put Sewell's Point
I
on
did
there.
not put that on my.
Try again. Try again.
You can look on the form page,
Where?
right here, it says the town of Fort White, I gave you my address and everything. I didn't put Sewell's Point on there.
Well, you have to take that up with the ethics.
I already called you, they called me back, but I'm just telling you, there's a bunch of shady stuff going on every branch of government.
Thank you.
No, I didn't file, I filed it for the town of Fort White, it says on there, I wanna know, is this Fort?
Sewell's is in Jupiter, Florida.
There is no Sewell's, I called that number, I looked it up, there's another page on it, says I looked up all the numbers, there's no town of Sewell's.
It's not a town, it's a waterfront community in Jupiter.
Yeah, yeah, I mean. Okay, well,
It's like a subdivision or something.
yeah, well, when I called back today, they gave me a bunch of crappy old, like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I filed against the town of Fort White for the health reasons. Parasites kill people. And some people don't even know those are full parasites.
Did you want to say something?
Did I read that wrong? I can try to get it down. I read that wrong.
She done, are you done? Thank you, ma'am, that was very nice. Are we in council member comments?
Town of Fort White, the person who-
I have a comment, Mr. Richardson, I saw something about a tree that was on town property that fell on your fence. And I know you talked to Bill about it, but they went in there and cleaned up those woods for the sewer project, but I went by there yesterday and they left that tree, cause that's probably something they don't want nothing to do with. And I don't know if you talked to anybody else, but is that something the town can get, what, a backhoe, get out there and lift that tree up?
No, because it's not.
Only we thank you for bringing that up. We've done all that we can do.
So they won't say we'll give you precedent or, you know, if you come up to the podium.
You see that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, he has a fellow still in town.
We've done all that we can do. It's a lot of fun today.
Yes, that was the next page.
that tree was huge and it was rotted. I mean, just like dry as dust, all the way through it, the chainsaw didn't go through it. So Johnny's cut everything he cut off of it. And, we got it broke 3 of our fence panels, which his fate would have it. We're in the process of replacing all that already anyway. And I'm not, somebody's like, the town needs to pay, well, I'm not worried about that. But the tree, it was on town property, it fell onto our fence. That's a little woods, we call it, was not touched for years. No weeding, nothing, that was just a nice windbreak for us, because it's on the north side. It's going on, that's all that's left. I think they have to come back and there's some stumps there that might come back and take out. The reason they're doing that, that's where the sewage line's gonna come through, which I wanted to say, if I understand how it's gonna go down there to the end of the street, and they're gonna have to dig all that up anyway. Where the road makes. Yes.
Oh.
I think it is, I mean, it's hard for me to tell a little bit of the map, but it looks like it's gonna go down
I
there.
think this phase stops right there.
Okay.
This phase.
If they're not gonna have to dig the road up to put in the sewage pipe, then they shouldn't just patch that again. It needs to be properly repaired. So we don't have to keep patching it. I mean, there's 2 speed bumps on that road to slow people down when you have that as a third one. But there's no signage warning you or anything, you just hit it and bounce through it. But, yeah, as far as that goes, the tree was on town property, it's in East Park, the south side end of East Park.
And it's still laying catty corner over the corner of your
Not
fence.
as much of it, there's still a little bit of it there, but it's because, Johnny's the one that knows about wood and saws and all that, I don't know. But because of how dry rotted it is, you can't just saw through it.
So,
But you guys are ready for somebody to come pull that big.
Yeah, and now there's a big giant pile of it out. I told him to throw it in the park, on the other side, but he put it out by the road. So they'll come get it eventually, they always do.
Right.
When they park debris or whatever gets put out there.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about it, but,
I think that might actually be on church property, because they had to sign that.
It's not a church property, it's city property. That's why they went in there.
That behind you and stuff.
There's church that belongs to the city.
So
Now, when they take a right, that's the church property.
when I look on the maps here,
The tree is on city
my
property.
town property.
are we good with Lynn telling, Earl to come out there?
I'll get with her.
Okay.
I'm still working with her.
Is that
All
tree
that.
have a city sticker on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a city sticker.
And, there's no charge to him since it's
No, the city tree.
Well, before, you're talking about putting the millings on that lady's property, I get it. Historically, a couple things like road, we used to accept credit cards here, and they had no cash, they were worried someone was in and robbed the lady in the house. So the council did away with that, and bought the credit card processing machine. We used to have all that. What happened to it? Where's that?
Connie now.
Was it like
Connie
this?
didn't
It says on the
accept
old
that.
machine that's out on the desk, and they just.
Like that?
Yeah, they just.
Well, that's,
But, planning and zoning, you haven't brought it up in a while, and I appreciate the time you did. I still would love to see you guys bring back, I said, the planning and zoning board to help do all the work. I communicate, that's important, because there's no way to look up what has already been done. Ordinances were passed, a lot of them we can't find them. But as old timers, we remember, oh, y'all did that. That was already done, and y'all, like, we knew exactly how many people were connected and weren't paying their water, and couldn't be connected and weren't paying anything, because there wasn't nothing to connect to. But y'all already done, previous councils did all that work. It kills me to see having to go back all over again, instead of moving on to take care of important things that are pressing today. So, I applaud you guys. It's been a rough road for you, for all of you. Keep going.
Okay, thank you.
Don't quit. Follow the truth. Truth will set you free.
That's my line.
as a council member comment, would like to just, bring back to the surface the position, Fort Mustard's position. I think we need to review applications and get that, determine what we're doing in that position, if we're proceeding with Earl or.
Did we put out a good RFP or a job posting for that? I don't remember ever seeing.
I don't think we put out an RFP for it, I just
I mean,
think it was a job posting, I don't know what locations we posted it in, that may be something that Glenn want to, look at and then run it again and see what we get, but I think we need to wrap it up.
Can you do that, Glenn?
Let's see if we can find it again.
Public Works Director.
No, I'm talking about if it was sent out, but we're
Yeah,
hard time finding information.
yeah. Well, if you can't find it, we need to get a good job description and,
I think
advertise
you
it.
do have a job description.
Yes.
So,
Need to advertise it in several places so we can get some applicants to review. Thanks, sir.
Any other comments from the counselors? Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
That's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
What did the lady,
I have,
what was her running?
they returned it, so this is what she did. Yes, there's parasites everywhere. But they returned it, the Board of Ethics returned it because she filed it against the well. We didn't return it, we didn't file it.
I'll get out.
What do you mean,
I am, but I am sitting by moved in, Maryland,
I'm gonna see you, I guess I should go to New York. I
project.
got some talk the other weekend, and I was about a couple times last week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you.
You all still have that sit out for subdivision? I know your mom.
It's not, I have 48, man, mama sold it, I know it's coming to the nursery. I got 48. She sold a lot of
That's
her.
why
I think it was, another guy, I don't know if it was, I see it for
yeah, but we got-
what is the, what is the?
It's been done.
You'll be busy. You gotta check the parasites.
Good seeing you. The triangle. Right. Okay.
She wants me to have a copy, maybe she left it.
She's outside.
That meter bill is a problem, and the water line.
I'll take it, give it to me.
So is that the meter for the main house now, they hooked to it now? So it's not, they didn't put it, she said, I'll give you a copy. I wonder.
But Glenn said, you know, that you're- Thanks, Greg.
Yes, ma'am. You like everybody to know that I'm gonna be like that.
That ain't bad. It's gonna get tough there.
Like the
I just checked my list. But they said to me, they asked somebody, they voted for board out there, and they said, they can't wait to see what part of it. I don't deal with this.
meeting.
He wants to go ahead and process this stuff.
And so we can get a key. Well, up there. That's why I knew the name. That's why you see the jail. It's the official people. He got arrested. Those guys are back to that original time. But when they're coming to the church, nobody takes the case from the I just got you cool.
So I've been doing.
He did good.
He got on me?
Appreciate you coming by. Nice to meet you. Yes, sir. We're trying.
He's got to get a. We send the county because they didn't.
Don't be upset. We're all- I mean, don't worry about it. I appreciate that.
I'll get it.
Sit there so long.
Don't get it.
Number 3 out of
You're welcome to my handle, and my God will work as well. Especially in these two.
We're gonna get it. It's gonna be
We can't talk about what somebody else does.
No, I'm just saying I can't find it.
Yeah.
Just trying to get bored.
I went through his emails and all he says, everything's going on. Yeah, you should get the before the board. That's my point.
You have to understand, we're trying to pick up pieces here.
Who's he?
We're gonna, Howell's coming in, we just got those 2 big checks done there. I think there's a guy something in place, so once I can run all that through and check enterprise, I'll get those collected next day.
Yeah, we need to get, Laurie needs to get with Christie and get June and July done.
If you could send me down here, if you could work, or I would go whatever you need us to do, I'd like to go get those requests done. I mean, they're not done, they need to be done, right?
Yes, but
Now, let's go ahead and do the electronic too.
you've got the documents were sent down here, it's got packaged up and sent to
Right.
TV.
You got some damn many documents that nobody knows what.
What's Brandon on sneak?
I don't mean to be a.
It's like, no, I see the girls in this.
Asahi, Tiger.
You see those, they put it in the WNBA.
These are
I'll
nice.
give you a call tomorrow.
Because,
Asahi, yeah, back in our day, they were called
You
Tiger.
sign there, that's all.
And then it's bought out by Asahi.
Yeah, okay.
And that's not right, assets.
Yes.
Are you?
Back in my day, Converse with a,
I wore many a Chuck Taylor.
yeah, me too.
I'll pull everything together for that. Okay. Get that moved out.
That's the canvas.
Then this contract here, this is just the award.
You know, I had to give him so much
So
money.
he's still gotta sign that?
You know,
No, that was already done.
There's no signatures, anything. Just, I got this from them the other day.
I always have to go down more for my new chucks.
Right.
But it's all.
Which one is that? That's the agreement?
That's a 12-inch agreement.
That's the one he needs to sign. This will go with it.
He's gotta sign it?
He's got to sign it.
He has to.
Because he did the other.
All right.
That was already done with.
Well, then I need to get a call.
Finish it.
Which means besides this whole last day. Maybe before we do that. Okay. God, that's taking a bunch more of your-
That's pretty bad when everybody's
Oh,
calling me.
making a minute. Okay, bye.
You know that.
Laura said it's supposed to be fine.
That's pretty bad when his wife's calling you.
Mix it over here real quick.
All right, I'll get Laura to get hold of you tomorrow.
Thank you, we're getting there.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, ma'am.